we realized that even though, we are so now once again far ahead, I'm gonna just go ahead and kind of put it out there. We just celebrated New Year's. It was a lot of fun. New Year's, of course, from 2025 to 2024 to 2025. We're so far ahead.
Yeah.
We're not scrambling at all. But as a result of that, I realized something. We didn't look into the future and talk about the scare zones of HHN 25 at all.
Oh, yeah. As if we had already experienced them.
Yeah, because that's what we did with the houses.
Yeah.
Obviously. We haven't even... HHN 2024 hasn't even started.
They haven't made announcements of anything.
We do not know each other yet. I am 17, and all of my faculties, my back, everything, fine.
Wow.
Yeah, I can do a front flip. I couldn't do a front flip back then. No, but what's funny is our discussion about HHN this year, which we promised, and we may have over delivered on a little
Yeah,
bit.
may have gone a little far in a few places.
A little 25 minutes too far. But we had mentioned that we would cover the season because we're big fans of it. We know a lot of our listeners are as well. And you do this amazing thing where you put in chapters in our episodes.
Oh, yeah.
So if somebody was like, well, I don't care for HHN at all, you didn't have to listen. You just click ahead. But we wanted to cover scare zones. Scare zones are an integral part of the event. If you've never been, essentially a scare zone is a small section of the park cornered off with either a path, a walking path, or just some decoration wherein characters, people dressed up in monster masks, jump out and scare you with a theme. Years before, the scare zones have been very good. But recent years, last maybe couple years.
Yeah, we had a handful of years where for whatever reason, they kind of had slacked a bit, I feel.
Yeah. And I think that has to do with a focus on the houses. I also think that has to do, and you and I have talked about this personally, about Epic Universe.
Yeah.
And now that Epic Universe opened and made so much fucking money very quickly, you can see that they were like, well, fuck it, we got money to spend.
Well, and I think that they really take into account, and we may have mentioned this before, the surveys that say they send out, and everybody complaining of like, hey guys, the zones sucked last year.
Yeah, big time. So I think this conversation is just a simple one. We can just kind of tag team, go through like a synopsis of each one, and then go tell everybody what our favorites are and why, which one of them is our particular favorite.
Yeah, there's both more and less zones this year, because technically for the last several years they've had 5 scare zones. This year they only have 4, but they added 2 other like entertainment sections,
which I don't hate.
Yeah. I think they were. I think both of them were interesting additions.
Yeah. You've got the kind of the opening section, which for years past has always been kind of like a tastemaker, and they've scaled it back and back and back to where it was almost nothing last year. I don't think that there were people out there the last night that I was there, which was the Halloween weekend. I don't think anybody was out there. But this year it's quite a bit better.
Yeah, this year, and it's called The Origins of Horror. But yeah, it is kind of a taste of the entire event, all the characters you're going to see, some of the different themes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it stretches how it should, like all the way from the opening arches all the way back to kind of Minions Cafe now.
Yeah, the minions are terrifying.
Yeah.
They'll eat you.
Yeah.
Because they're bananas. The big thing that I like is that they, instead of doing a major focus on different costumes or different characters from the different scare zones of the different houses, they really prioritize just building a really like aesthetic area. It's what's funny is that at the same time that this event is going on, they are tearing down Rip Ride Roller Coaster. So or Rip Ride Rocket. So as a result of that, I don't know if it was intentional, but the whole theming is like torn apart rebar and concrete. So it's like you look over and see the destruction of the roller coaster. Look down, it's like, oh, are they just using those pieces?
Is that part of it?
Yeah, you get on and then you fall immediately off the ride and die. It's the best roller coaster for guys like us. But this year they did these little like standees, these little maquettes of all of their intellectual properties that they use for the houses. So like for Fallout, they have like a vault door with Vault 33 written on it for the show. For the Horrors of the Wyatt Six, they've got the WWE logo, but they also have his Bray's lantern, which I think is interesting. Got Art the Clown, Freddy Fazbear, and Jason's mask, his very controversial new mask, which we'll get all into in 25 years when we discuss the short film that just released from Jason Universe, because I refuse to touch that again this soon.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But yeah, there's like gargoyles and stuff. It's cool. It's cute.
It fits the overarching theme that kind of spills out of El Artista.
Yeah.
The house.
Yeah. And we touched on that about how that's kind of the theme. In front of like New York, where the tribute store has been in years past, next to Jimmy Fallon's terrible, terrible face, is
Mutations Toxic 20s.
Yeah. Long story short, what if Gangland Chicago in the 20s had a giant chemical spill of rat poison, but the rat poison turned people into spooky skeletons?
Yeah.
It's great.
It is. I love the theme in this whole thing. I like the storyline that's playing out.
Something I like is that they didn't work too hard because you could overdo this. They use very muted colors and they use very muted lighting, with the exception of like really neon green paints for their characters and really dark clothing, dark muted clothing. So it gives that whole section like a black and white vibe.
Yeah,
which
true.
I think works really well.
Because then the pop of green on everything is then that much more heightened.
Yeah. And I like the music. I like the different set pieces. There's like in the center, there's like a newspaper stand where like a bugle boy will run out and say extra, extra, and then just get fucking mauled by something. It's great. And plus, you pointed this out the last time we were there. In the corner of that scare zone is an Auntie Anne's pretzels. So it always smells great. It smells like nacho cheese or maybe a bowl of pudding. Definitely not sherbet.
What?
For sure not.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, I've never seen sherbet on their menu.
In the front near the Monster Makeup Show, they have a vampire-y one.
Yeah, Masquerade Dance with Death.
Yeah, it's simple theming. It's like a old Victorian masquerade, maybe earlier, and they're all vampires.
Yeah.
Except the ones that are about to be eaten.
Right. There's a lot of stained glass. There is a fallen chandelier in the middle.
Phantom of the Opera. Yeah. And a rat.
Yeah.
A big rat.
There's rats in like every scare zone this year.
Yeah, but the rat there is cute. He like eats a guy. He's good. Cat Lady of Crooked Lane, which is the sleeper for me this year, is in Central Park, is the area of the park. Very wooded. They always do exceptional work in this area because you can't fuck that up. You have a path with a natural canopy of trees over. They filled the trees with pumpkins.
Yes.
And then the whole thing is themed like you're on a dirty road, like in the middle of like a terrible backwoods part of some backwoods state. And there's a crazy woman who gives kids a potion that turns trick-or-treaters into her cats.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because again, that's another zone that has like a beat for beat story as you walk along.
I love that they've got these big posters that kind of line it, that if you're going one way, they read the story. If you're going the other way, they read the story, but they're in order, whichever way you go. And the other thing is at the end, if you're walking from like Mel's Die-In, like the center of the opening of the park, and you're walking from there into the back near ET, which by the way, still need to know who wins that fight. Hashtag Immortal Jason Voorhees or the hashtag Immortal ET. But when you walk back to that area, I'm never going to let anything die.
No,
except the things we already have because we've forgotten. I just didn't write them down. Off to the, right at the center, the hot dog, if you will, of the scare zone is this old dilapidated country home where there's like projections of cats running around and a bunch of like old cat toys, and people have taken pictures and framed pictures of their cats and put them around, and it's great. And there's an actress who plays the fucking cat lady. And
she comes out, maybe every 15 minutes or so and kind of does a little mini show.
Yeah. And it's a wonderful. And then off to the right of the beaten path, it's like a mini house.
Yeah.
It's like a 3-window little hallway where cats jump out and fucking try to scratch you. And it's great. And one of them did scratch me. That's why my voice is a little scratchy.
Did you get a fever?
No, I had toxoplasmosis. I got cat shit in my blood.
Oh my God.
Those are the zones, the two little horror club, whatever. They've got Mel's Die-In. They have kind of redecorated to be an event space wherein out front they play loud music. They have kind of kicked the lights a little brighter, but they've got like, 40s, 50s bebop zombies on rollerblades that try to hand you plates of limbs.
Yeah, it's great. It's cute.
It's kitschy. Yeah, I don't hate it.
But it's a good zone because people want to take pictures there anyway. And so that gives, people somebody to get scared by while they're trying to take a picture.
What I will say, and I will give zero physical description, but one of the scare actors in that area bothers the fuck out of me every time I'm there twice a week, every week. And it's just like, they kind of hold this prop at you and grunt. And it's like, I'll be on like the phone or the conversation or something, and they won't stop. And it's like, brother, you got to realize that you're barking down the wrong tree here. Like, go. I want to just push the rollerblades. Just like, go away. And then lastly,
we got club horror.
Yeah, I don't have a lot to say about this.
There's not much to it. It is in the kind of like LA, the wharf area of the park.
Jaws.
It's where Jaws used to kind of be. And it is always an area where the zones that go there seem to create this bottleneck. Yeah. And it doesn't matter how sparse the theming or the stages are. It just sucks for an area to put scare zones in. And instead...
they also typically go, well, which of these zones sucks? Or put that over there. Because they're never good. They're not memorable.
And so this year, instead, they just kind of were like, okay, what if we put up like some trussing and a DJ booth and a couple of spots for go-go dancers to just dance, and we'll just pump music out all night.
We call it Spooky Sexy Club Town.
Mm-hmm.
I just made that up. Yeah. But okay, so that's all of our zones, all of our little clubs and whatnot. So I went first with the houses. So Derek, that D. Rosenberg, what's your favorite scare zone?
My favorite scare zone is probably Cat Lady of Crooked Lane.
Me too.
Yeah.
Everyone else's. It's amazing. It's so much fun. Even if you're not going to be able to make it out, you should just look up a video of that scare zone. It's amazing, taking such a perfect and very like well cleaned, well pathed space and making it look so fucking gross.
Oh, truly. And you mentioned the jack-o'-lanterns in the tree line. That is something that they've done. I mean, like years past, it used to be almost a reoccurring. It didn't matter what was there. And then we went several years where it wasn't.
This is the first year I've seen this,
and it makes me so happy to see it, because it is just walking through that area. Like, there's so much to look at, and it's just such a cool, it feels like Halloween.
Yeah. Do you have an honorable mention?
Yeah, I really love Mutations Toxic 20s.
Okay. My honorable mention is the Mel's Die-In area, because I'm going to push that guy to the fucking ground. The Third Channel podcast dies tonight,
where we delve into the horror franchises you love from the perspectives of a lifelong horror fan
and a newbie to the genre. I'm PJ Doyle, and I survived all those nights ago.
And I'm Derek.
And today, the only thing we're here to talk about is horror. Today's horror comes in the variety of the very controversial, apparently, Halloween Kills, the sequel to David Gordon Green's Halloween 2018.
See, what's funny is you say that. I feel like Halloween Ends is more controversial.
I would say Halloween Ends is obviously more controversial. I'm only talking about one specific person. I'm going to cut this.
Well, who could it be?
I'm going to rip this Band-Aid off immediately. I want to be very clear. We're not bullying anyone. We are fascinated.
Oh, yeah.
You can't. Zoologists don't bully orangutans when they observe them in the nature. And so we aren't bullying anybody. But Walker gave Halloween 2018 half a star. So obviously, this one that takes any of the good faith that Halloween built up and made interesting, or any of the character beats that were memorable or impactful, and tears them all away for cheap bullshit and a terrible, terrible story. Obviously, this one you hate.
Yeah.
Except he didn't hate it. He gave this one 4 stars.
But that's what I gave Halloween 2018.
He gave, well, yeah, that's the point I'm making. He gave this movie half a star less than John Carpenter's Halloween. What do we do with this information? Somebody has to be told. Yeah. We have to tell the press, you know?
If only we knew anyone who worked in the press.
Yeah, we could tell them to release a list. So the craziness that is this movie is something that I had forgotten about. Bug was like, I'm super excited to see what you guys do with these. And it's like, why? Because I guess he'd seen them more and more recently.
Yeah, probably.
I'd totally forgotten.
It is one of those things where it was, I think, both more and less wild from what my memory was of it. I've only watched it a few times because I saw it in theaters, and I saw it. I rewatched it with you, and I guess I would have rewatched it prior to that for Ends as well. So
I like to think that you also watched it. Like, you went to the theater and you saw it, and you're like, wait, hold on. And you turn around and you bought a ticket, you watch it again because you're like, there's no way this is what this was.
yeah.
I missed something.
I was probably just like in a bad mood or something, right? Like
I passed out in the chair. Who knows? I take Ambien when I go to the movies. It's a game I play. It's like, what?
But not one of my favorites.
No, definitely not. So first time I saw this was with you. Obviously, they always are. But this one was a double feature. We watched Halloween, then we watched this one. I don't remember why, but we saved Ends for something later on. I think it was like the next week or whatever. But there was something going on. And so Ends we watched alone, which I think fueled the fire to my initial hatred of Ends as well, because it felt so detached. But maybe it was just the immediate left-right punch of 2018 to Kills it softened it for me a little bit. Our rewatches, though, throughout this week were a brutal, brutal thing. Because we talked with Bug for hours. This episode that is, will have come out is a longer one. It's, I think, probably our second longest because we enjoyed it. Got Bug. We wanted to talk about it. In talking about that, we have to kind of refer back to John Carpenter's, but in doing so, look at the timestamp on that John Carpenter episode. Obviously, we can't shut the fuck up about it. So the problem is that this one, in the rewatches, we get to the scene, right? The scene that is our clip. I'm going to keep you guys on edge.
Oh, edge.
Yeah, I'm edging. You, not me. I'm fine. But the point is that it gets to that clip, and it was just like, oh, Jesus, what is this? I don't remember this at all. And then it's immediately psycho. Everyone's psycho. Everything is psycho. But I keep reading these reviews, and this is kind of my point, bringing up Walker so early on. I keep reading these reviews, and people I really respect are like, well, I mean, at least they tried something. That makes it better than Scream 5. Or like, yeah, it's a little over the top, but I think that's the point. And I don't see any of the positives of what they're saying. I just don't see it. And I have that imposter syndrome of, is that a me thing? Am I so surface level that I can't peer deeper into something? And normally I would say that might hold up. No, not here. I think I am perfectly confident in saying that if you want to look beneath the surface of this movie, it's like dunking your eye into a puddle. You're just going to see asphalt and you're going to get shit in your eye.
Yeah, I can understand where they're coming from of like, well, at least they tried something. Because, yeah, I think this is a big swing of a movie, but I think it's such an odd swing in the opposite direction. And it like you said, it takes away what I think was a like perfect send-off that they built with 2018, so much so that like the characters don't feel, who we just got to know again
for hours,
don't feel like themselves in this movie.
No, like even Laurie is like making really stupid decisions and saying weird off-kilter dumb things that don't fit like the hermit like doomsday prepper that she's become.
Like she was emotional at parts in that in 2018 and H40, but this is like she was calm, cool, and collected so much of that movie because she had trained her mind, body, and soul for this one night to happen. And then moments later, in the timeline, because this picks up immediately following.
Immediately,
and she's a completely different person, it feels like.
Yeah. And then the only person in any way that kind of has their head on a swivel is her daughter, Karen. And even that is like, yeah, but for you to then be so engaged in all of this and be such a part of the town and so like engaged with Tommy and all of these people. And it's like, but you just in the last movie rejected all of that.
Yeah.
Wanted nothing to do. You just lost your husband. What's going on? It feels like it was, I mentioned this to you that we are close enough at this point that I'm like, this, if it were any later, if the release date of this film were any years later, I would be like, oh, it was AI. Like AI wrote this. It feels like it was made by a computer that only had ever seen 2 movies. The first one, it saw Halloween 2018. And the second one, it saw The Naked Gun, but it didn't quite get the irony of the jokes. So it just thought doing things really big and above and like ridiculous was what made those movies funny.
It just took them completely seriously at face value.
Well, how did that police car get into that hockey rink? Fuck, you want to talk about The Naked Gun instead?
Yeah.
I am going to give you one guess. One. And if you're wrong, we're going to end the episode. But there's no way you're going to be wrong. I'm literally banking on this. There's no way you'll be wrong. You get one guess as to the first line of this description.
Like the tagline of the movie?
Yeah.
It has to be Evil Dies Tonight.
It is. Oh, yeah, it is big time. All caps, too, baby.
Oh.
Michael manages to free himself from Laurie Strode's trap to resume his ritual bloodbath. As she fights for her life from injuries from their last encounter, she inspires her daughter, Karen, her granddaughter, Allison, and all of Haddonfield to rise up against the unstoppable monster.
All right.
Again, I have so many problems with this as a premise, and we'll get to that. But my biggest premise is if you guys wanted your story to be that Haddonfield couldn't move on from any of this, you jump it's too late.
Yeah.
It's been 40 years. Like, I'm sure that there are serial killers in Tampa's history that killed more than 5 people 40 years ago, and you and I couldn't name even one of them. Is this like a picturesque universe, Haddonfield, where it's the only place with a serial killer? It's the only place any teenager has ever been murdered?
Maybe. I'm trying to think if do they reference anybody else by name?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
They made up the word serial killer because Officer Hawkins remembers that when Michael used to stand in his sister's window every day, he would eat bowls of cereal at a time.
Yeah.
And he was like, that guy just kills boxes of cereal. And then Miles Teller turns and says, say that again.
Halloween Kills was released September 8th of 2021 at the Venice International Film Festival, and then was released U.S. theatrically on October 15th of 2021. It is, again, directed by David Gordon Green, who also was one of the writers, along with Danny McBride and Scott Teems. That's a new name for this one. The producers are Malik Akkad, Jason Blum, and Bill Block, who we spoke of last time. Honestly, a ton of the people who worked on Halloween 2018 also worked on this, also worked on Ends.
Sure.
So we're not going to kill you with all the people and their credits again. I'll just say the cinematographer is, again, Michael Simmons, and the editor is Tim Alverson. The budget for this film is $20 million, which is double what it was for H40.
But H40 made 230 something million dollars.
So yes, Halloween 2018 made just shy of $260 million, and this brought in 133.4. So it cost about double the amount, and it made about half.
I wonder. I mean, it has to be word of mouth.
I don't know. I have a question about that in part of this of why we think that might be.
Okay.
But yeah, again, our writer director David Gordon Green, before this was very much known for kind of his comedy films and scripts, and then he has done this run with the Halloween series, as well as The Exorcist Believer. He works alongside Danny McBride on a lot of things. Again, known for his comedy, but has done this stretch of horror films. And then the new name on that list, writer Scott Teems. He wrote and directed a 2009 drama called That Evening Sun, and then the 2020 mystery thriller The Quarry. But he also is the writer alongside, other than Halloween Kills, I should say, he also worked with them on Firestarter, the remake from 2022. He wrote Insidious, The Red Door, which is a film you and I saw in theaters. And then he was also contributed to the story of Exorcist Believer. Producer Malik Akkad is the son of Mustafa Akkad, the producer of the original Halloween franchise. Jason Blum of Blumhouse Productions. Bill Block, same producer here, Music, amazing. Not as good as the stuff in 2018, but there's still some good music in this, I think.
The thing that this movie does, and we'll get into when and why, but the thing that this movie does is it does dip back down into the original score.
That's true.
And man, you don't beat that.
Yeah.
Like even with as awesome as he and his sons and Davies, their score from 2018, as amazing as all the changes that they've made in the modern feel they've given it, that original score hits so fucking hard.
Yeah. But yeah, again, returning John Carpenter, his son Cody Carpenter, and his godson Daniel Davies do the music for this. Basically, the development for this movie, Danny McBride kind of confirmed in June of 2018 that he and David Gordon Green had originally intended to pitch 2 films that would have been shot back to back, and then decided against that, waiting to see the reaction to the first film. A quote here from him says, "Let's not get ahead of ourselves. This could come out and everyone could hate us and we'll never work again. So let's not have to sit around for a year while we wait for another movie to come out that we know people are not going to like." So they said instead, let's learn from this, see what works and what doesn't. And then we have an idea of where we could go. But they definitely had an idea of like where they could go with the story leading out of 2018.
Let's look at what works, what doesn't work, ignore all of that, and do ridiculous nonsense instead.
Yeah.
Yeah. That old chestnut.
It's a plan that's sure to work. Then in September of 2018, Jason Blum said, we will definitely do a sequel if the movie performs. And by October of that year, after the film's opening weekend, McBride confirmed that early development of that sequel had already begun. February of 2019, they confirmed that Scott Teems was in talks to write the script. He had collaborated with Blumhouse on a couple things before that were still kind of in development at the time. In July of 2019, Bloody Disgusting had reported that the studio was not only considering filming 2 sequels back-to-back, but also releasing both of them in August of 2020, which is an insane thing.
Why would anyone do that?
It is one of those things where there have been a few times that I can think of where movies like this have been made where it's like, we'll shoot the Lord of the Rings trilogy is the perfect example of that. They literally shot all 3 movies at the same time.
Yeah.
And what I used to think of whenever I heard that as a kid is that they shot Fellowship, immediately shot Two Towers, immediately shot.
But it's like if they were on location, they'd shoot all 3 movies scenes in that location.
So from what I understand, like day 1 to day 2 to day 3 of shooting on the schedule is like Sam and Frodo leaving the Shire to Sam and Frodo on Mount Doom having an emotional break. And it's like, how do you as an actor do that?
You get good enough to get cast in The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
You kick the helmet and break your leg.
Yeah, of course.
A little Viggo Morgenstein.
The other example that I can think of is the Matrix sequels.
Okay.
They shot both of those, I believe, at the same time and then released them 6 months apart.
6 months apart, I get. Releasing them at the same time is stupid.
Yeah. It's wild, which is probably why it didn't happen, among other things. Again, that was going to be October of 2020.
I feel like there was something going on that year. Yeah. I feel like I missed the entire year of Horror Nights that year.
Yeah, you did. You did. David Gordon Green had worked with McBride and the co-writer to map out those 2 films before realizing that they actually had enough material to make a trilogy. That's an argument that I would make, but all right. On whether or not they actually had enough to make a trilogy or if...
Yeah, that's bullshit. And we're not getting into ends, but like they have nothing to do with each other at all. The only through line is 2 characters and the city and Michael. That's it.
Yeah.
Actually, now that I think about it, that might work.
Oh my God. So then in July 19th of 2019, Universal Pictures revealed that Halloween Kills was set to be released in October of 2020, and Halloween Ends was then set to be released in October 2021, with Green directing both, co-writing with both, with Danny McBride, and then Jamie Lee Curtis reprising her role in both films. So in July of 2019, then when it came to casting, they confirmed that Nick Castle would return for both sequels to do some scenes as Michael Myers, and James Jude Courtney again playing Michael for the majority of the film.
Yeah.
I'll get out ahead of this right now. Bug told me off mic. He believes I mispronounced. I think I said James Judy Courtney. And I think that honestly was like an autocorrect on my phone.
It might have been that, or you're thinking Dame Judi Dench.
Yeah, that's what I imagine Michael looks like under the mask.
He does. You can see him in the behind the scenes.
But yeah, James Courtney is back. August of 2019, it was announced that Anthony Michael Hall would join the cast as Tommy Doyle, a character portrayed by Brian Andrews in the original Halloween. Paul Rudd, who played Tommy Doyle, remember him?
Yeah.
He hasn't done much. He played Tommy Doyle in Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers. He was approached to reprise his role, but unfortunately for all of us, he was unavailable because of his work on Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Unfortunately for all of us, except for Paul Rudd. Let me ask you a question. It's a serious question.
Does it make it better?
No.
Oh.
Who's better as Tommy?
Okay.
Who's Tommy do you like more?
The two versions of
this guy or Paul Rudd?
Adult Tommy that we get.
And why? How many reasons is it because it's Paul Rudd?
Yeah, it's Paul Rudd.
Yeah. At least he's fun.
Yes.
That fucking sucks.
And he gets really small sometimes and really big sometimes.
No, again, that's fiction.
Oh, okay. I just thought that was a talent he had.
Ants.
The best marketing ever. August 30th of 2019, it also was announced that Kyle Richards would reprise her role as Lindsay Wallace from the original film. Charles Cyphers was confirmed to return as, not Sheriff now, but Sheriff Brackett.
Yeah, now it's old, flat-headed security guard.
And this would be his first role in a film since 2007. September 5th of 2019, they reported that Robert Longstreet would play Lonnie Elam, a character from the original film. On September 27th of 19, Nancy Stevens, who portrayed Nurse Marion Chambers in the original film, Halloween 2 and Halloween H2O, was also confirmed to be reprising her role.
It is like... It is like hearing about the casting decisions and stuff for Endgame. And it's like, oh, everybody's back. Like even the kid from Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
And they're like, let's do that. And it's like, you guys have one movie to pull from. You neglected all of the other movies intentionally. You have one movie. Who else do you get? And they're like, oh, yeah. We also got, in one of the scenes when you're outside of the hardware store, there's a car that goes by and it like passes in front of Michael. That guy's name is Robert McCarpass and he's in it.
Yeah.
He's being portrayed by Sir Anthony Hopkins.
Well, it's that. And then it's like two of your main returning characters are not played by the same actors because those actors don't work anymore. Like they're like, yeah, I did those two movies and then I was out. I
was a child.
Yeah.
I was 6 years old. Yeah.
So like we said, John Carpenter, Cody Carpenter, Daniel Davies returned to the score. Much of the film's score was then completed before the COVID-19 pandemic outbreak occurs.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
It was COVID. That's what happened in 2020.
Yeah.
I still have it.
Yeah, that COVID, that brain fog, man, it makes you forget.
Yeah.
That it ever happened.
It's that and the edge.
And then we've kind of mentioned this before in other things, but there is an end credits song that's performed by the Swedish rock band Ghost. Have you heard of them?
No, they're not real metal.
It's called Hunter's Moon.
So fucking good.
They released it as a single, but it's not included on the soundtrack.
No, it's weird. It's the version, and I pointed this out to you last night, the version that's in the credits, though entirely unique and very good, is available nowhere.
Right.
It's only the album version from their Impera album. That version exists, which is frustrating because I like that credits version. It's like, it is as though the band's focus lens was through the kind of soundtrack of these movies.
Yeah.
I love it. It's so good. Man, you want to just talk about Ghost?
Yeah.
That'd be great.
We've done that so many times.
No, but I mean for like, what is this? Like probably around 30 minutes. We'll talk about it for another hour.
Oh, good.
So he's just going to keep talking about Halloween Kills.
Yeah. The release of this film was initially set for October of 2020. But then in July of 2020, it was delayed to October of 2021 due to that COVID-19 pandemic.
See, I forgot again because of that brain fog.
But on September 9th of 2021, it was announced that in addition to being released in theaters, the film would also be streamed on paid tiers of Peacock for 60 days. So it was one of those movies where they were like, we're doing a simultaneous, you can see it in theaters or you can pay to see it at home.
Can I say something that you're not going to agree with?
Uh-huh.
I think all movies should do that now.
Yeah.
All of them. Every movie. For 60 days, every movie, whatever major distributing company has whatever fucking streaming app, put it on that app for 60 days paid. I hate the fact that you can't just do that.
Yeah. I do disagree with you.
But here's the thing. You like movie theaters. You like going there. I don't. But you have the option to go see the movie 2 months before and not have it spoiled to pieces. If I didn't get the courage and the gumption and to bring my sword and shield into that AMC theaters to watch Superman and the Fantastic Four, it would have been spoiled for me. I wouldn't have.
I guess you're right. Universal received a largely negative reaction to releasing it simultaneously there and on the streaming service.
Okay.
This was actually producer Jason Blum's idea. He decided that due to the poor box office performance during the COVID-19 pandemic of their film Freaky, which came out in 2020, the best option was to offer viewers the option to see it, in the comfort of their home or if they were, going
without
out.
Getting fucking sick. Yeah.
So, yes, during that time, it was a nice option. I think what that has done has hurt the movie theater industry. It has made people unwilling to go back in a lot of ways. Yeah. And it has shortened the time between being in theaters versus being like available at home, which then why would I decide to, even if you don't have it available to me online to stream right now when it comes out, if it's going to be out in 30 days, I'm going to be able to watch it on Peacock anyway.
Just wait.
I'm going to wait.
Not me. This is a much longer conversation for a much different episode of this show, one that deserves the talk about the cinema industry in general. What I will say is I don't think the problem with the movie industry and theaters dying comes from streaming exclusively. I think it is the massive swell between what movies cost to make and then how many of them people are going to go see. Because when you have a movie industry that's, pumping out 200, 300, $400 million movies every however many years, and those are the ones that everyone goes and sees, and then you get your little oddball special like Weapons. Weapons got a lot of traction. A lot of people went and saw Weapons, but like nobody went and saw fucking Long Legs. Like they couldn't walk down there with their long ass legs.
I saw Long Legs.
How long are your legs?
Not long enough.
Any of you know the story of the Haddonfield Boogeyman? Too young to give a shit, too drunk to remember? 40 years ago, a madman escaped from a mental hospital. It was the night before Halloween, and 3 teenage girls were walking home from Haddonfield High. They had sightings of a ghost-like figure creeping right through our town. A man in a white mask. Or was it more than a man? He was watching them. Before the night was over, 3 people would be murdered. And in the house next door, there was a babysitter and a young boy and a young girl. And they were brutally attacked by this stalker who had a power beyond any mortal man. My name is Tommy Doyle. And I was that young boy. So please, join me in commemorating the victims and the survivors of Michael Myers.
Again, the 5 victims. What about and I don't mean to compare suffering, but crazy shit has to happen in the world every day. And so just, can you imagine 2 of our characters that briefly returned from 2018 to this one. And they're briefly in 2018. They're in this one for a bit longer. But we have a charming couple of color that are there that are dressed as a nurse and a doctor. And they're blink and you miss it in the first movie. I think Bug mentioned that.
Yeah.
But he walks up to Tommy after Tommy makes what I'm going to call this speech. After this, I hate this guy so fucking much. Let me cut this right through. I hate him. I hate the character, the way he's written. I hate the performer and his bug fucking eye. I fucking hate him. More than that, though, he gives this whole creepy speech and he fucking absolutely Michael Myers babysitter murders the feeling of this awesome Halloween talent show. Marcus, who is the guy dressed as the doctor, walks up to Tommy and he's like, hey, man, I heard your speech. That's crazy. I didn't realize that was like a whole thing or whatever. And Tommy looks and he's like, thanks, really appreciate it. And he's like, appreciate what? He didn't compliment you. He said, I heard you speak just now. You are that guy. And Tommy's just like, yeah, man, real fucking, I'm crushing bruise and pussy and just talking about Michael all the time. And it's like, what do you do for a living, Tom? We mentioned that in last week's episode.
Well, you know, it's funny. In some of my reading for this, in the novelization, they go into how like Tommy is like a recovering alcoholic. He has horrible anger issues. He can't keep a job. He can't keep a relationship.
But see, if that was the case, you could do interesting things with that. During the talent show, because Alani's character is like, you know, he's going to do some bird calling. And it's like kind of a joke, but I think that's what his talent actually was. And he walks up and he's like, I'm not going to do any bird calls for you because I'm fucking angry. And they're like, oh God, Tommy, get off the fucking stage. And everyone gets really uncomfortable. And so then when the twist happens that Michael has returned, he can be like, I fucking told you this was going to happen. And he storms out and people get inspired by, you know, oh my God, this guy's waited his whole life like you did the last one, but just two different characters. Or don't put Tommy Doyle in this because that's stupid. We start this film.
Yeah, how would you start it? Would you start it with the ex-boyfriend Cameron from the previous film?
Cameron, what's Cameron's last name?
Elam.
That's important to know because shit goes down with the fucking bug. Shit is going down with the Elams. We start with Cameron, who is dressed still as Bonnie, Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah, if we didn't mention that last time, it's a gender swap couple's costume.
Oh, so
great.
Funny. Yeah. And then this is moments after I assume he throws the phone into the bowl of pudding and he leaves the party.
It was nacho cheese.
It was sherbet.
Bug is not here to defend himself or his cheese. I will have to.
I don't want to talk about Bug's cheese. But
it must be because he's leaving a voicemail to the now deceased Oscar, who he does not realize.
Not to be confused with Oscar Pistorius, legless South African runner and wife murderer. But he calls and he's like, pick up, man. I fucked up, dude. Allison's not talking to me. And then he like looks over and he sees the now bleeding out and dying body, who we all presumed was dead because it makes no sense for him to still be alive.
Will Patton, the actor, he also believed his character was dead.
Yeah.
Because he should have been.
Yeah, when you're standing off to the side and you watch a dummy in the costume you were just wearing get run over by a car, you're like, oh, well, he's dead for certain. But no, Officer Hawkins, who had been throat slashed by Dr. Sartain from the first film, Halloween 2018, he is alive. And he's gurgling blood, and he's like, and so we begin, by the way, because he's like, it's gotta die, and I gotta be the one to do it. Because in this movie, everyone needs Michael to die. They need it. Which, yeah, sure, he's an aged serial killer. Everyone needs him to die, but they all need to be the one to do it, or they're fine with it being Laurie. But it's one of those two.
Yeah. There's a lot of platitudes in this movie.
A lot of weird speeches.
Oh, yeah. And just the line deliveries that don't seem human.
This truly is the midnight mass of Halloween films where it just cuts from one monologue to the next.
Yeah, but those monologues are good.
Beautiful. Let's talk about midnight
they're
mass.
They're well written. They mean something. They're not just the same 5 lines of dialogue over and over again.
Yeah.
But we cut back to the best sequence in the whole film.
If this, and you and I have talked about it, a lot of people talk about this. If the story of kills had been kind of reined in and polished and made to be less ridiculous and sat as Halloween Ends and took the ending for Ends as its own, and this movie Halloween Kills was just this 5-minute flashback sequence extended to an hour and 40 minutes, it would have been one of the best horror movie trilogies, especially like a requel sort of thing, ever made, because it is incredible. It is the night of the original murders.
Halloween night, 1978.
As Michael tries to flee, and We follow kind of in the steps of Officer Hawkins, a younger version played by a different actor.
Yeah, young Hawkins is played by Thomas Mann, who was in Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters, the Stanford Prison Experiment, Kong Skull Island.
Oh.
And he was in the live-action Lady and the Tramp film that came out on Disney+. He plays Jim Deere.
I did not know that existed until just
no.
now. But it's an interesting scene. One of the very first things we see is Michael in pure 78 gold. It's the kind of darker green suit. The mask is incredible because it's not exactly the mask from the original, but it looks like a de-aged hybrid between the mask from 2018 and the mask from 78.
Yeah,
It's
is a
gorgeous.
mask that they had to build from the ground up again. But now with today's technology, we can recreate this as close as we absolutely can, but so much so that if there was like a bubble in the plastic around the lip, or the way that the dirt collects around the nose, the way that the hair is flipped up in a specific way, like they starched it exactly how it should be.
The thing that bothers me is that is something to do with the source from the original. They cannot license this flashback mask. Trick or Treat Studios, who makes all the masks that we've ever posted that I own or whatever, well, most of them, they cannot license it. And it's like, I'd fucking kill a guy to have this version. But yeah, he walks down an alley. Hawkins shoots at him a few times, and it just establishes this excellent walk down memory lane. It feels so much like the original. It just feels like you kept the original rolling for a few more minutes. After it cuts around the house and you get to see that he's disappeared, it's like, yeah, he would then be arraigned and grabbed by the police or killed. But obviously we know based on this sequel that, what happens to him is he ends up back in Smith's Grove. And just watching it play out. I mean, this guy who plays Hawkins' performance is great. He has dialogue with his partner.
Yeah, the partner, Pete McCabe, is played by Jim Cummings.
Not to be confused with the voice of Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, that's a good distinction to make. He was in the horror film 13 Cameras. He was in a movie called The Block Island Sound. And then he was in The Wolf of Snow Hollow, which he also directed. And then he also was in the Righteous Gemstones season 4 episode Prelude. So the first episode of season 1. Or season 4, rather.
Okay. And the Civil War stuff. That's interesting. But they establish something that becomes a major theme here, which is Michael spent all day as a young boy in his sister's room staring out the window.
Right. And so there's the discussion of, well, what was he looking out at? Which Hawkins gives the answer because they're kind of standing at the top of this hill and you can look out and see the lights of the cityscape or the township of Haddonfield. And so it is the question of, was he looking out at Haddonfield, this little town where nothing happens, or was he looking at his own reflection and reflecting on what's going on in his own head?
Or he is consequentially brain dead and he's just happens to like the way the air draft. It's like it's such a weird thing to focus on for so much of this movie, but without a definitive sort of storytelling premise or anything for it to lead to, but whatever. Yeah,
I guess in a grander scheme, it's playing with that in the whole film of like, we're looking into this town. We, the viewers, are now looking into this town as it kind of rips itself apart as it goes along.
Yeah.
And then we have a lot of self-reflection from these characters. You have a lot of Karen, Judy Greer's character, hearing these stories all her life and like finally seeing it come true, and then now having to deal with the trauma that her mother went through, and then seeing it go through, like her daughter go through the same thing. And then Laurie's reflecting on, her life and where she made her mistakes and things.
Yeah.
So it is a theme that is there. There's a reason for it. I don't necessarily care.
I don't care. And I think it's also like really shoehorned by the end of it. It's interesting here because what it leads them to discover is, oh, well, that's probably where he is. So they go back to the old Myers house.
Yes. Before we get there, we are introduced to our young version of Lonnie.
Oh, God. Yeah, I forgot about that. Because, again, remember Lonnie, the one that Dr. Loomis is like, get your ass away from that he's back. Everybody's back, baby.
Yes. He's being bullied by
the McPoyles.
A trio of kids. And I guess there's something there with the idea of like, like Lonnie is Tommy Doyle's bully that we see, but he is also being bullied.
Like he's a childhood bully. You don't need to do this.
Yeah.
You don't need to show him in a light that makes him sad.
I guess the only reason why is because now we're going to catch up with him as an adult. And so it's like, well, we can't have it be, we have to there has to be a reason that these two get along now in life.
Because they were fucking 6 years old.
I agree.
And they're in their 50s.
Yeah.
Just be like, we got over it.
Uh-huh.
I showed him mine. He showed me his Pokemon cards.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I guess it wasn't because those weren't out yet. So I guess penises. But the point is that they do that childhood thing that we all did. Totally
Right,
normal.
right.
And then that's what Bug was hiding behind that pillow. And then
but yes, a cop comes by and says, you know, you kids need to go home. There's been a murder down the street. And so they all kind of scatter. And Lonnie, he trips and falls running down the sidewalk, and he is approached then by Michael,
yes,
who doesn't do anything to him.
he recognized in that moment. He's like, kindred spirit.
Uh-huh.
You're also a bully.
And he is like,
Or maybe what it's supposed to be is Michael is bullied.
okay.
And Michael won't kill a bullied bully. Or whatever. It's like an anti-bullying PSA.
Okay. That's
bad screenwriting. But And so Lonnie like knocks to the ground. Michael's standing over and he's like, please don't kill me. And then he looks and Michael's gone.
And Hawkins and McCabe find him, and they are luckily right across the street from the old Myers house
On Lampkin Lane. One of the things I think is funny in this scene is in the writing, because the writing in this movie is such an eye roll for so much of this movie to me. But I really like the cop who pulls up and he's like, there's a fucking murder. Get the fuck home. Because what a 70s way for a cop to speak to kids.
Well, the way that they talk, like in general in this whole sequence is like, yeah, the only reason you're getting away with writing this dialogue the way that you are is because it's a period piece.
Yeah.
It is
like Lonnie, panty eater, like some disgusting shit. It's like, well, yeah, that's the rhymes of the 70s.
It was a different time.
Inspired by Pink Floyd almost exclusively.
My favorite detail here, because they really, if we thought that they were making references to the original with Halloween 2018, man, they really just go for the moon on this one. Because as soon as they go into this house, the old Myers house, to investigate, they find something that we've all talked about, but we've never gotten to witness.
No.
There's a dead dog in here.
Yeah, he does too. The actor is just like, it's a dead dog in here. And I just wanted so badly for fucking Loomis to pop up out of the window and just be like, he was hungry. And then just go away. It's like, who the fuck was that? That's another thing is they mention Loomis by name at this point.
Yeah.
When all the cops kind of in the beginning as Michael has left and Hawkins has taken a few shots at him. Hawkins is like, Loomis said he shot him like multiple times. And you go, yeah, but how many times?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, say it.
Yeah.
Loomis shot him 6 times.
You cowards.
Loomis would go on to say that in every subsequent movie for 5 movies.
Yeah.
Just say it.
You're really missing out.
He shot him 6 times.
I like the recreation of this house. This is an entire, like this section of the street. This entire house was built on a soundstage, and then like the facades of the houses next door and the trees and everything, those were all built. But I love this recreation. Getting to see the little details in there as they kind of walk around and end up upstairs in Judith's room.
It's interesting. It's the partner that goes in first, looks down at the window and sees the boot prints. And then Michael kind of comes out of, I think it's like a side closet, something, like a shared bathroom maybe, comes out and just kind of immediately assaults the officer. And it's just so brutal. He grabs, it's like by a rope, and he's like strangulating him to death, which
the ropes are mentioned. This is again, we kind of get to see the dog here. We get to see these ropes because Sheriff Brackett, whenever he talks to them outside of the hardware store, he's like, yeah, there was a break-in. All they stole was like a Halloween mask, a couple of knives, and some rope.
Oh.
And so we finally get to see the rope.
Well, we see it and he chokes a guy to death with it. And then his partner walks in, and then this is where the scene falls apart a little because it is a through line through the rest of the film that Hawkins feels guilt. He goes to shoot and he's trying to plead with Michael. And then that doesn't work because Michael is evil, which is on the cusp of dying tonight. And Hawkins shoots and is such a terrible shot that not only does he miss Michael completely and only shoot his partner, but he shoots his partner dead in the neck. That can't be a mistake. He's like, I got an opportunity. That guy's been fucking my wife. And he shot him in the neck.
I know you fucked my wife.
But Michael is like, man, fuck this. And he leaves, which again, why wouldn't he kill this guy too?
Yeah, I don't know. He just starts stalking right out of the house.
Because it's not like he's like running away from the gun.
Mm-mm.
He's just slowly walking.
Yeah, he's just doing his mosey on out.
Yeah, but he leaves. And then in an amazing bit of special effects makeup,
There's a all the cops pull up outside and you start hearing this familiar voice.
Yeah.
PJ, what does that voice sound like?
It sounds like, hey, bitch, I'm your worst nightmare, bitch. Right?
No, that's not what I remember.
Oh. Is it like, hi, everyone, it's me, the Mad Hatter, or something?
Definitely not.
Is it Peter? No, it's Loomis. He's like, Officer Hawkins, is he killing? Has he killed again? Like that means something compared to the fucking 5 murders you know he already did. But he's like, did the evil kill again? Dr. Hawkins, or fucking Dr. Hawkins and Officer Loomis. That's a nightmare. Could you imagine Dr. Brackett and Officer Loomis, Sheriff Loomis?
He'd have a second gun.
He'd have a gun on every appendage.
But yeah, after hearing this voice, and you think, because we hear his voice on the recording in H40.
I just assumed that it would be kind of an off-camera thing. But he then bursts in a panic. You know, the Loomis, like, he bursts into the house. And he's like, is he there? Did he kill again? And it's like, holy shit. Because it looks just fucking like him.
For a second, it kind of melts your brain.
It's crazy.
And I love it.
Yeah,
I love it so much. They had talked about a bunch of different options to kind of bring back Dr. Loomis. Obviously, you know, ranging from either just doing voice only stuff or using CG. But then they noticed on the first movie even that their construction coordinator, Tom Jones Jr., so somebody who like helped to build that house that they were currently standing in on that set, bore an uncanny resemblance to the late, great Donald Pleasance. And so they added some minor kind of FX makeup work to his eyebrows and his nose. And then Colin Mahan provided the voice, like he did the voiceover in Halloween 2018.
It's just incredible.
Yeah.
And it adds this bit of like, it adds this bit of realness to this opening sequence because if you did it without him, it wouldn't, I'd have a hard time believing it.
Right.
Because he was the driving force of the entire end of that first 78 film. So like not having him in the scuffle wouldn't make any sense. So adding him in a respectful and believable way is great. I loved it.
Yeah. And this whole sequence I love because like the cinematographer, he worked really hard to shoot it and light it in a way where it looks like the film from the 70s.
Yeah, and it does.
Like they were hoping that if somebody did like an edit, you could just slot this into that movie.
The thing, a good example of that is that dog scene. I know we laugh about it, but like the shafts of whiter light that kind of break into that room where it's in the original, it's Loomis and Brackett just staring down at the dog. And then you cut to, 2022, whatever it is. And you see that. And it's like, lighting wise, the way the set is designed, I mean, they had to keep that fucking dead dog on ice for so many years in the Universal backlots. But, it was worth it. It was worth the time. It was worth the money. John Carpenter left it for a whole year in a box in his shed. Deborah Hill was like, get that dog out of here.
But finally, to kind of end this, to cap this scene off, Michael is now standing much like he did as a child, having just murdered his sister, out on the sidewalk, and the cops are surrounding him. Loomis steps out on the porch behind him, and the camera cranes up to reveal him standing in front of the house to match that shot. Absolutely fantastic.
Loomis is just screaming shit at him. Michael, you gotta be put down like the dog you just ate. Crazy shit.
But then they hard cut to our opening credits, which again, pumpkins.
Yeah.
Jack-o'-lanterns.
This one is this opening sequence is it reminds me of this film. It's too much.
Mm-hmm.
Too loud, too many things happening. It's ridiculous. There's like 1,000 pumpkins and they all kind of skate around the screen and they're on fire.
Yeah, they become like more and more inflamed as we move along. But there's 12 pumpkins because this is the 12th Halloween film that they've made.
Sure. What I will say is I do like the pumpkin we land on at the ending. I like the look of like the mouth melting.
Yes.
But again, see what I mean about how it's like, it's kind of analogous to the movie wherein like, if you guys had just done the one and done it really good and like really worked on this one effect, it would have been a lot better than if you were just like, I don't know, a bunch of them.
Yeah.
All of them. Set them all on fire. You know, move them around and weird. What is that? Jamiroquai? You know, that music video?
No.
Where like all the furniture moves. There's one guy who was born in 1981 who's going to hear this and he's going to love that reference. Just like my Oscar Pistorius reference from earlier.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that Oscar guy sure sounded like a grouch. Please kill me. Then we are back. Halloween night 2018, baby.
We're at a bar. Who gives a shit? This is unfortunately where the rest of this conversation is going to kind of go.
Yeah.
Is there's a lot of stuff that they try to establish that there's no reason for them to establish because it ends up with nothing. There's zero. That's like the curse of this film is that there's no payoff to almost anything. And
The Curse of Michael Myers.
no, the curse of
Halloween
old
Kills.
what is it? Old Huckleberry.
Yeah, old Huckleberry.
Yeah. Anyway, so it's a talent show.
Yeah.
And we are introduced to the MC of the evening, who is Lonnie Elam.
Right.
And this is my favorite part of Midnight Mass.
Truly, like, this performer is giving the best in this entire film.
He is so good.
Lonnie Elam is played by Robert Longstreet in this film. He was in Pineapple Express, which was directed by David Gordon Green.
Okay.
He was also in the things that we know him from. He plays Mr. Dudley in The Haunting of Hill House.
Yeah.
He was in Dr. Sleep, which is another Flanagan film. He plays Joe Colley in Midnight Mass.
If you guys want to see something truly incredible, watch his performance. You don't have to watch the whole show. We've talked about Midnight Mass on the show before. It's great. It's Maine Islander vampires. It's wonderful. But part of that show is he is a drunk in that show and he's committed this terrible crime by accident and he's forgiven by the victim of that crime. And his performance is just so fucking good. Like it fucks me up every time I see it for a while, like a day after. And so seeing him in this, it was like, oh, it's this guy. And then by the end of it, you're like, oh, he wasn't bad in this. Everybody else was.
He is also working with Flanagan on 2 episodes of The Midnight Club and 1 episode of The Fall of the House of Usher.
Yes, which is also an incredible show. Anything Mike Flanagan does, I can't fucking Clayface.
So good.
So one of the things that happens that has no payoff is the doctor and nurse Halloween couple that we mentioned earlier ask the survivors of Michael Myers, mentioned by us in the nuts and bolts of all the people, all the survivors coming back, Marion and Lindsay and all these people. They're being loud. And the doctor's like, hey, shut up. We're trying to have a drink.
Yeah.
And that's a scene that exists in this movie.
Yeah, Marcus is dressed as the doctor. He's played by Michael Smallwood. He's done a slew of short films, and the only reason I can figure that he's in this is because he played Shane in 2 episodes of Righteous Gemstones season 2.
Okay.
And then the nurse Vanessa is played by Kamala McNeil. She's done some TV roles, but she was the secretary in Righteous Gemstones Interlude 1 and 2.
Okay.
So
that's fun.
That's their little tie there. They are kind of, like you said, interrupted by Marion Chambers, who's played and returning again by Nancy Stevens. She was in Escape from New York, D2 Mighty Ducks. And then she plays this character in Halloween 2 H20, and Kills. Kyle Richards is back playing Lindsay Wallace. She was in the Tobe Hooper film Eaten Alive, The Car, The Watcher in the Woods. And then she was a Real Housewife of Beverly Hills for 281 episodes.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
That's what she did later in life. And
Good
then
for her?
Sure.
Sure.
And then Lonnie Elam introduces Tommy Doyle.
Yeah. Now, I had said to you that I hate this guy and that I can't wait to not ever have to talk about him ever again. And you said, you really not recognize him? And I was like, no, I don't. I don't know where I know him from. And you said you were so excited. So this is what I've been waiting for this whole time.
Yeah, I don't know that we'll ever really talk about him again. It's not like he's like a horror actor.
Oh, I'm happy to hear
but I can't believe you don't. It's not that I can't believe you can't recognize him, because I don't think he looks anything like he did in the roles that you probably know him from.
Okay.
Tommy Doyle in this film is played by Anthony Michael Hall, who was in National Lampoon's Vacation. He plays Rusty Griswold.
Okay.
So the boy in the family.
Right.
He's in 16 Candles. He's in The Breakfast Club.
Okay.
He's in Weird Science.
Okay.
He is the boyfriend of Winona Ryder's character in Edward Scissorhands.
Okay. What's funny is I was going to say, why cast him? But then it's like, why cast Paul Rudd?
Yeah.
Eh.
Yeah. He was also in The Dark Knight. He played Engel, who I believe is the news reporter, news anchor.
Mike Engel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
who gets kidnapped. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he's in 2 episodes of Wednesday, apparently.
Oh, does he play Wednesday?
Yeah, he does.
Good for her, I guess.
But yeah, Anthony Michael Hall, everybody.
He's terrible. He's terrible in this movie. He's the worst part of this movie.
Yeah, I don't like his
his character is written so terribly, and that contributes to it, but it's him. It's his performance. He has this like kind of mealy mouth, just like monotone, and he's got this like crazy eye that he does the whole movie. But it is just every line he delivers is so up its own ass, and it's just so contentious. I just hate every scene that he's in.
It's one of the things that I think the biggest difference between Halloween Kills and Halloween 2018 is that H40 trusted its audience and Kills doesn't. And what I mean by that is, like, you know, we've talked about the references that they both kind of make, and we'll get into a few more with this one, obviously, because they both reference so many, not only just the original Halloween, John Carpenter's Halloween, but all the sequels that they don't actually take into consideration. They still have little nods to, which I enjoy as a fan of the series. But in this one, it's like they have the flashback, and then throughout the rest of the movie, it's like they just flat out tell you what everyone thinks at any given time.
Yeah,
there's no subtlety to anything.
I made the comment to you, like, do you think this movie did well
overseas?
Because that's what it feels like.
Yes.
It feels like, okay, well, now we're going to go get Michael. Michael's the serial killer who ruined this town 40 years ago. And these are the survivors. And so us, the survivors of Michael Myers, the killer who killed those 5 kids 40 years ago, we're going to go get him right now. And it's like, what is happening?
Yeah.
It's Evil Dies Tonight. It's fucking crazy.
It feels weird that it's written the way that it is, when it's like, well, you didn't write this way to remind us what happened in a movie that happened 40 years prior. Now you're writing as if we haven't seen the 2018, like 3 years ago.
Like we just forgot it.
Yeah.
He gives this ridiculous, just ham-fisted speech that is embarrassing and stupid. And it is. All these people are dressed up in Halloween costumes. They're at this bar. They're there to have a good time. And this dickhead gets up there and he's like, let me tell you all my fucking trauma. All right, shut up over there. Listen up. When I was a kid, I was molested. And then later after that, some shit went down with the Boogeyman. You guys know Boogeyman? Anyway, Laurie Strode pouring out for Laurie. And it's like, what is he doing? That's what I'm saying. If he were drunk, I would have enjoyed that a lot better. Like, imagine he goes up there and he's slurring, and Lonnie's like, okay, Tommy, come on. And he's like, get your fucking hands off me, man. And he gives him that stinky eye, and he's like, don't you touch me, or I'll remind you of the Haddonfield Boogeyman. That's how he delivers every line.
Yeah, honestly, you're not far off. For like, if that's what he was showing off as his talent in this talent show, he lost, man. He's terrible.
Later on with the guy with the puppet, that guy kicks ass.
Yeah, Lonnie is laughing his ass off.
Lonnie's sitting there. Lonnie looks down and he sees his son calling, and he's like, I'm not taking this. There's a fucking puppet.
What could that be? He was at a dance.
He'll pick up. I'll call him back. He'll pick up.
Yeah.
But I'm going to watch this fucking puppet. And the puppet turns and it puts on a Michael mask. And fucking Tommy's like, no. That was the other thing, by the way, is If you're going to cast a Tommy in this movie, just cast him with Corey Feldman.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, what was he doing in 2021?
Drugs. I don't know. He seems like the kind of person that if I found out today, like Corey Feldman arrested for earlier touching himself in public on a bus. It's like, yeah, sure. He does that.
Oh, yeah.
He's a comeback kid. He came in the back of the bus. That's what he does.
Speaking of the back of the bus,
Yeah.
we hard cut to Lori and Karen and Allison in the back of the truck from the end of Halloween 2018.
We do. I actually like this transition because Tommy's like, to Laurie Strode, wherever the fuck you are. And then it cuts. And she's like, fucking please. Because remember, we don't trust you guys to remember our review. She had been stabbed horribly in the stomach. Yeah. And so she's sitting there bleeding. And they're like, fuck. And fucking Karen's like, hold on, Mom. We're going to make it. And then fucking siren as fire trucks blare to her home. And she's like, no, let it. And Jamie Lee Curtis is great in everything she's ever been in. I have no complaints about her performance. Her dialogue is weird in places and clunky, and the character feels off, but she's great. But she's like, no, let it burn. And I just wanted one of the fire trucks to, like, you know, they have the speaker like, actually, yeah, we're not allowed to do that. We are legally obligated to put out the fire, ma'am. And
that's kind of our whole thing.
She grabs one and she's like, you don't understand. The Haddonfield Boogeyman was in that house. We locked him with swords in the basement. And you hear, really? And it's like, okay, guys, get a room.
Yeah.
And then Karen starts sobbing because the person she wants a room with is roasting in that house.
Oh. She doesn't quite know that yet.
There's no way. Oh, no, I guess she doesn't. That's also stupid.
She never witnessed his body in the house.
Did she think he ran?
I don't know where she thinks he is.
He walked outside and he was like, that guy got jack-o'-lantern. Then he fucking booked it.
Because, like, I think the last thing she asks as she's coming down the stairs, Lori is barricading the door with a shotgun. And she's like, is that Ray? Is Ray outside? Or is Ray in here? Or something along those lines. And then she gets sent to the basement that's where she remains for most of it.
And she, again, does not ask at all.
No.
Ray's running down the driveway like, oh my God, that guy got his head turned into a jack-o'-lantern. And he sees Michael smash. Well, no, I guess it would be backwards order, but whatever for the joke.
Yeah.
He sees Sartain's head get smashed. He's like, oh, fuck. He like hides in the trees.
So, yeah, the firefighters apparently are actual firefighters from Cannon Air Force Base. They appear here in this scene. They are trying to put out this blaze of this house, and one of them falls through the floor into the basement.
It's not the stupidest way for him to have survived.
Yeah.
Because he, like, earlier in 2018, they show a gun rack with a metal sliding door. He has then hidden behind that during the blaze. Firefighter falls in, his little sensor is going off, and he's like, I need to get picked up. And Michael just approaches and grabbing, I don't know, I guess it would be like a fire pickaxe thing.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
But he smashes it through the guy's face.
Now, what an insane thing to witness. You are in a house that is completely engulfed in flames. You fall through the floor that is on fire into a basement, and you are calling for help. And then a metal door just slides up, and there is a
6'5" old man in a burnt to shit Halloween mask walks up, picks up a thing, and you're like,
nothing.
Like, well, hold on, what are you what are you doing, man?
Because he basically on the radio is like, there's somebody else down here. Because the other like firefighters are like, what?
I think it's Bill Shatner.
Do you guys remember that old Star Trek series? He's down here right now.
Oh man.
Michael Myers, the Shape, is played by James Jude Courtney.
His friend, Dame Judi Dench.
I don't think we went over his credits in the last one, so I'll go over them here. The Freeway Maniac, slasher from 89. He was in Far and Away, film in 92, directed by Ron Howard. He's in the Philadelphia Experiment 2, which is a sci-fi action film. He was in The Killing Grounds, which is an action film where he starred alongside Anthony Michael Hall.
What?
And then he was in Devil in the Flesh, a 98 thriller starring Rose McGowan from the the first Scream film. And then while he played, he's like the primary actor who played Michael in this trilogy here. There were times when other people had to kind of step in. Stunt coordinator Aaron Armstrong played Michael in the flashbacks to 78. He's playing like a younger Michael at that point.
Sure.
So his body, is a little different. And then, of course, like the 2018 Myers also needed a stunt double. So that double was Douglas Tate. And Tate, this is not his first time playing a slasher. 18 years ago, Tate had the chance to play Jason Voorhees
In the remake?
in the final shot of Freddy vs. Jason where he comes out of the water.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. So that was like a last minute, they were like, oh man, what if we did that as the ending? And Kurswinger, I believe is his name. I'm misremembering right now. Who played Jason in Freddy vs. Jason, he was not available. And so they just grabbed this guy and had him carry Freddy's severed head.
Now, this isn't the movie that we're talking about, but don't you find it incredible that with all of the antipathy and the frustration that came with getting a solid script down for Freddy versus Jason, that once they finally have one and everything's about to go, they're like, well, how do we end it? It's like, guys, you've been working on this for 20 fucking years. What do you mean, how do you end it?
Well, you can't let half of your audience down. You could go the Halloween Kills route, and you could let
all
like
down.
all.
Except Walker.
Yeah,
Walker fucking loves it.
So Michael gets a hand up out of this basement,
A 3-fingered hand.
and that is apparently a call. So basically, like Michael kills the firefighter that fell down there, and then another firefighter trying to help his partner down there.
Yeah.
Reaches down and Michael takes his hand and pulls himself out of the basement, presumably. But that is apparently a callback to the original Universal Horror Monster sequel, Bride of Frankenstein, where it also takes place on the same night as the original Frankenstein from 1931. And the monster grabs the hand of little Maria's mother from a burnt out, the bottom of the windmill that burns at the end of the first film. So little reference there. Just thought that was interesting. And then Michael makes it out onto that porch. And again, just the pure insanity of you're watching this house burn. Like it's completely lost. It's a lost cause, but they got to put it out so it doesn't burn down the forest.
Yeah.
And a grown ass man in a Halloween mask.
An elderly man. Yes.
Right. Comes just stalking out, and he's holding like your fire pickaxe.
Yeah.
And they take whatever items they have in their hand and start using them as weapons against him.
But this is something that I pointed out to you because they're firefighters and they have zero context for anything that's happening. And this old man walks out and they don't go, sir, are you okay? Or like, can we get an ambulance or something? They're just like, something's wrong about this guy.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
They're like, you know what? I'm going to rev this saw to murder this old man with.
Yeah.
And it's like, good God.
And then that 60-year-old man just murders the entire fire department.
It's easy for him. He's killed so many cops. He's killed so many police forces in Haddonfield.
Not in this timeline.
He's dreamt about it.
Oh, yeah.
He's planned it.
It's all
Michael's been planning for years.
all he dreams about. He's like, I want to get out there. I want to have the other half of that dog. I want to kill the entire fire department.
And I want to wipe the Elams off the face of the earth. Jesus.
The Strode women make it to the hospital, and Lori is rushed into surgery, and Karen finally has a moment to realize that her husband is dead.
Yeah, she goes into the morgue, and this creepy old man is like, you can't be in here. And she's like, have you seen my husband? And he just literally goes, you can't be in here. And it's like, why are you yelling at Karen? She's just trying to find Ray.
Yeah.
Ray, by the way, being the character from this movie, not the Firefly that was also voiced by Jim Cummings, but a different Jim Cummings.
Yeah.
It's a web.
Man, that would have been really confusing.
Yeah.
I'm glad you pointed that out.
I'm going, oh, dude, go down. You know, that's crazy, dude. That little fly is my husband. Oh, it's a B movie situation.
But yes, Karen comforts Allison in the stairwell here. This is
Another example of grandmother. Is grandmother going to make it? And it's like, the fuck? Call her
you
my
still
grandma.
doing that?
What about Lori now? You just survived the murder.
Yeah.
Your peers.
I think you guys are on a first name basis.
Call her Annie Brackett and trigger her PTSD.
Trigger something in me.
What?
Yeah. Allison, again, played by Andy Matichek, and Karen, played by Judy Greer. And then we kind of cut around to a couple different things. So there's an older couple who are playing with a toy drone.
I love this scene so much.
It is. It's just this weird little.
First of all, the acting is very funny. Second of all, it feels very Danny McBride.
Oh, yes.
It's so silly. But
and in a weird way, because we have a couple of these scenes it's like the boy and his father going on the hunting trip.
Yeah.
Which is a scene I really love in Halloween. The cop scene where they're talking about brownies that we like kind of skimmed over.
It's fine.
It's fine. I don't like it as much. And then you have this, this one fits right in there.
It's they're watching an old movie in their weird little trailery house.
Mm-hmm.
And this old woman,
Sandra,
is playing with a drone with a camera on it. With a camera you don't know is just because you and I watched deleted scenes. And the husband comes out and he's just like kind of a cool guy, kind of a little Big Lebowski vibe.
Yeah, Phil.
And Phil's like, you want to hit some of this Beaujolais? And they're like, fuck yeah, Halloween night. And then they're both, without even a moment's, maybe we should. They're both just like, oh man, that fucking crazy bitch Lori is burning her house down. What a psycho. Like, what a crazy idiot.
Now, Sandra here is the woman who shows the podcasters Judith Meyer's gravesite in Halloween 2018.
And this guy was yet to be seen.
Yeah.
But now he's here. And it's so funny because he's like, what a psycho bitch. And she's like, she is a psycho bitch and she will hurt you for saying that. And it's like, well, these guys know Lori.
Yeah, they do.
Classic Lori. You know, I'm a bitch, but I'll hurt you. If you're Michael, I'll stab you, but never actually do any permanent damage until the end of Ends.
Mm-hmm.
Evil died in Ends. But it's whatever. It's a short little scene and it does serve a purpose. This does pay off, which I actually like the kind of geography of all of this film. But Michael is in the bathroom, presumably washing up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
He got too much smoke. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe it's probably that. But so you mentioned the kind of deleted scene or extended scene that we watched. From interviews that I've heard, apparently that was going to be the scene or the shot that Nick Castle played Michael in the bathroom.
Weird.
And so even whenever he shot it, he had said something like, I don't even know if that's going to make it into the movie just because of how it's shot.
Yeah.
Now, whether or not that's true, I don't know, but that's, I believe, the one he was supposed to do in this one. He again does all the breathing for Michael.
But from the bathroom, the drone flies in and he grabs it and he just fucking hawks it back out and it smashes into a chair. They're like, what? The guy is like, what the fuck was that? And he goes and they do the very Scooby-Doo thing where they walk in slowly one behind the other and they get to the door. And the husband opens it and he's like, oh my God. And he just really closes the door. And he's like, honey, call the cops. There's an old man in a monster mask. And
He literally says that.
It's verbatim. And that's how he says it. And he's running away. And then Michael stabs him.
Yeah, he smashes through a window. I don't exactly know. I don't understand the geography of this house because he closes him into a bathroom or he closes off that section of the house. Maybe
my thought is that the house is from the outside looks a bit more like a mobile home, like a parked trailer. And so I think it is just thin enough that he was able to Jason his way outside because then he straight up Jason Voorhees. He smashes into a window and he grabs the guy's head and it's twice in this movie, but he has somebody's head within a wooden element with glass and he's cutting his face and his throat with the glass of this door window, whatever it is. But then as Sandra watches Phil bleed to death, Michael walks up and when we were watching this, I love this.
It's one of the coolest kills in this movie for sure, in this franchise in general. I just think it's an interesting kill. It's something I've never seen in a horror movie done before.
Yeah. Where Michael goes to the fluorescent light that's under the oven hood and he unscrews it and he smashes it in half so that half of it is a long, very sharp ended cylinder, which he jabs into her neck, up under her chin into her neck, and then just kind of does that Michael head tilt and slowly twists it into her neck. It would be crazy to imagine that this character lives.
Yeah.
And then as she's bleeding to death and trying to breathe, he grabs Phil and dumps him onto the counter and just turns around, grabs a knife from the kitchen, stabs it into his back, turns around, does it again, over and over again. I don't like this bit. I think this bit goes on for a little too long. This character's also, Michael's never been known to do anything like this. It's like he does little meticulous things, but typically his kill is quick. He seems one of efficiency.
See, but I don't think this is more to do with the kill. It's more to do with the staging of bodies afterwards. Michael creates art.
Oh, is that it?
Especially in this movie. He poses bodies like crazy.
He does.
That's what I take it as.
Okay. Now we get to the part where good old Lonnie Elam's phone begins.
Yeah, the whole movie starts falling apart from this moment on.
It's crazy how fast it devolves. Lonnie gets a call from his son, officer down, whatever. But then as that's happening and the revelation on Lonnie's face is playing out, the TV and everyone's phones start to go to the news. And that's where we begin the second act. Everyone now knows Michael is out, and Tommy has spread this very quick, this immediate assumption of this cannot be anything else. There is no coincidence in this fucking town. This is Michael. And it spreads in this bar out of control, where the old owner of this bar with his bat and his father's history and all this, which equates to nothing.
Yeah.
He's got an old baseball bat that says Old Huckleberry. Well, the nurse and the doctor go to leave. And as they're leaving, she's like, there's somebody in my car. It's him. It's Michael. He's in my car. And then they go inside. And this is the problem with discussing this movie at this point. All of the interesting shit is done.
Yeah.
Now we're at the point where it's like, and then people react and they panic and they go out as a mob.
And there's more screaming. And there's more people running up and down stairs.
I guess the two biggest points that I need to make here is that the first thing that happens is Tommy whips the crowd into a frenzy, which is the first thing that will repeat itself over and over and over again. Second thing is that there's like a little tip collection jar on the bar.
Right.
And it's Love Lives Today. And then he goes, Love Lives Today. And Tommy doesn't. He throws money in.
And Marion,
without skipping a beat, says the title of our movie, Halloween Kills, Evil Dies Tonight. It's not it, but it should be.
Now, Evil Dies Tonight and Love Lives Today.
That's my assumption, yeah.
Are just the opposites of each other.
They're antithetical.
They don't mean anything.
No. Evil Dies Tonight is, I assume, a reference to famed Haddonfield boogeyman Michael Myers being called evil by his doctor, Dr. Loomis. Now, before we get into this, and we'll go over really the scene where it began, you tasked me with, as we watched this film, to count how many times I was able to audibly hear from beginning to end the phrase Evil Dies Tonight. I counted 41 times.
Yes.
In one movie.
Whenever I was looking at the IMDb like trivia stuff, it says that it was said 29 times. But
it possibly is the thing of like they play it and then just let it repeat itself, like with extras voices or whatever, or it's like an echo feature. But anytime I could hear evil and tonight, I would cut it as one.
Oh, yeah. No, I think it falls definitely somewhere between 30 and 40 times.
Fucking crazy. One for every year. But so again, this is where we're going to lose a lot of the steam for this review, I think. And this is what I was worried about. Is they go out to the parking lot. Tommy threatens the person in the car. Car peels out. It crashes. They're all like, that was him. Let's go get him. And then everybody just starts to lose their fucking minds. And I get that that's what the movie wants to do. But for me, the thing that it wanted to do falls flat and it becomes a farce. It becomes a fucking Three Stooges bit. And I don't know. I have a hard time buying into it, especially because, I mean, from this sequence, I think we move back to the hospital.
We introduce our two of my favorite characters in the movie.
Big John and Little John.
Yes.
Scotty from the Righteous Gemstones first season, and also Stuart from Mad TV.
Did you say who it was revealed who was in the car?
No. So
on the news, it was reported that 2 inmates were never found from the bus crash that happened from Smith's Grove. And so it is finally revealed that the person inside the car that speeds away and crashes is the other inmate.
And if you're an eagle-eyed viewer of these films, you'll realize that inmate is the guy with the umbrella in the first one with zero spoken dialogue who just kind of makes happy noises because he's a psychopath.
Correct. I believe he's the one who Sartain warns the podcaster that he needs to tie his shoelaces because otherwise he'll, do something with them.
He'll slurp it down like a spaghetti noodle and then you're out the $1.50.
But yes, Big John in this scene is played by Scott MacArthur. He was in 36 episodes of the Caitlin Olsen show, The Mick. He plays Scotty in season 1 of Righteous Gemstones. He was in the horror film The Babysitter Killer Queen from 2020. And he's in the Jennifer Lawrence comedy No Hard Feelings.
He's in a lot. He does voices in a lot as well.
And then Little John is ironically then played by Michael McDonald. Michael McDonald, he was a waiter in Leprechaun 2. The first thing I think I ever saw him in was Mad TV. He did 238 episodes of that, so most of them.
He's like the Will Ferrell at the time for that series.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then, among other things, he was in all 3 of the Austin Powers films.
Oh, yes,
playing different characters.
Yeah.
Michael McDonald is the only person to have been killed by Michael Myers and Mike Myers. So in Austin Powers International Man of Mystery, he plays a henchman of Dr. Evil who is slowly flattened by Austin Powers on a steamroller.
Yes.
But yeah, that's a funny factoid you can use.
Yeah, kids. Anyway, they live in the Michael Myers house.
Kids?
Yeah, the kids do.
Well, no. The kids, I mean, play a prank on him.
Yeah, no, but they steal his house. They steal the Michael house or whatever. That's another thing that irritates me. So they're sitting in the house. It cuts kind of into the Myers house, and it's all been remodeled. It's very nice now, very dark colors. And Little John is downstairs preparing what I think is like a charcuterie board. And Big John's upstairs listening to an old record and smoking marijuana.
Oh, scandalous.
Selling drugs. But there's a knock on the door, and they're like, a little late for trick-or-treaters, and you kind of establish these characters that we follow for just 2 scenes, but they bridge an interesting gap. God damn it. They do a prank, and it's like, you ate a razor blade. You gave my friends candy that's got razor blades in it.
Yeah.
And they're like, what the fuck? We did? Awesome. And they start firing guns in the air. And they, I don't know. It's funny, and I like these characters, but I wish that this first one had been taken out and you just had one of the scenes with these characters because you don't need to.
Yeah, you really don't. It just kind of establishes that who lives in the Myers house.
But it's again what you said. It's they have no faith in your audience because they show that house and there's no fucking mistaking it because you just fucking showed it.
Yeah.
Seconds, it feels. Hours and days, it feels as well. The point is that just before this, you showed fucking Michael's house. So then when you show it again, it's like, well, yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, it has a different paint job, but it looks the same.
It's the same fucking house. But then they're like, they do this thing and they do it so obnoxiously where it's like, do you know whose house this is? This is the house of Michael fucking Myers. Isn't that crazy? Michael Myers. Remember Michael Myers? And they're like, no, we are 11 years old. We do not know what the fuck you were talking about. Please leave us alone. And then they scare him and they run away and they're screaming and they're like, holy shit, Michael Myers, the Boogeyman or whatever. And they run away.
Yeah, the razor blade and the candy is a reference to the kid in Halloween 2.
Or a reference to Trick or Treat.
Yeah.
Maybe it's both.
Maybe it's both.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
But then, yes, we return to the hospital.
Where things escalate immediately, dramatically. Oh, by the way, the cop, the large black man cop with the sheriff
Barker,
hat, he's back.
He is.
And he's terrible.
He and Lee Brackett, Charles Cyphers, who was in Assault on Precinct 13, The Fog, Escape from New York, and then he plays Sheriff Brackett in Halloween 2. He is now like a security guard at the hospital.
Yeah. And as news has gotten out that the Michael situation is again happening.
Yes, because there's an officer who talks to Allison, kind of questions her while the sheriff is then questioning Karen. And they kind of give their own reasoning behind the events of why Michael went back to Lori in 2018.
Yeah.
And Karen believes that, her mother was right and that she basically set them up to be bait for him to come after them. And Allison is like, well, no, it was, Michael's doctor, Sartain. He is the one who put them in the same place together.
Yeah, so Michael doesn't give a fuck about her, which again was the interesting thing. But the problem is that now you have torn it open and dumped any amount of subtlety onto the ground like marbles from a bag. And it's like, well, now I don't care.
Yes.
You've cheapened it. You've made it no longer a fun thing to go, oh, wait, somebody did bring them together. He never tried to find her. And that's an interesting thing in that first movie. And in this one, they're shining a light on it and they're pointing at it and it's written in glow paint. And they're like, hey guys, look right there. That's the script.
There was no connection.
There's nothing.
But yes, they are told that Michael is actually alive. Cameron shows up, tries to get Allison to go with him to join this mob. That
And again, nobody talks the way that the characters in this movie talk by this point.
Nope.
Because Karen's like, except Karen. Karen's like, Allison, where are you going? And then Cameron like goes around Allison and is like, oh, your daughter, she's going to come with us to hunt a maniac serial killer with guns. Because that's what this town does. This town sticks together. We fight. And it's like, who do you fight? How many other serial killers are there? Is it a 10-year period where it's like, oh yeah, Michael Myers in 1978 killed 5 babysitters. And then in 1985, Jim Mathis killed 18 people in like he used a bioweapon, like gas. And then 15 years later, and it's like, so and they always come back. Evil's never died. That always comes back. So right now it's Michael. And then, next 20 years from now, my kids will all posse together and they'll fight, a future person's name, like Lebo Jar Jar Binks. Cause you have that over there. He's got Jar Jar Binks stuff, guys.
Yeah. Love him. He's the key to all this.
Oh God, no.
Allison still has the knife that she had at the end of the last film, and she leaves it with Lori here
to join her mother.
To join Tommy, Lonnie, Cameron, Lindsay, Marion, and the doctor couple.
Yes, because a bunch of aged people and a couple that up until this point did not know about Michael Myers,
right?
At least by name.
I heard about that once,
but
now I'm invested.
Yeah, they are going to risk life, limb, and law to go out and murder a man.
Well, he might have destroyed their car. Actually, no, I think Tommy destroyed their car.
Yeah.
They should be mad at him.
It was that old Barbarella woman or whatever they say.
Yeah.
That's Miss Barbarella's house. She was very old. She was number one.
Yes. We get to the playground set piece here where we catch up with the kids. Basically, they're on the hunt. All the people that I just listed off, they're all going around town, getting a posse together, trying to, much like in Halloween 4, a bunch of good old boys are getting together to drive around in their trucks and form a mob.
Except that one, it feels more believable. This one, it feels like the people in that mob, we don't spend time getting to know every fucking character. So it's believable that there are enough people in Haddonfield that would get together to do this. In this one, it's like Marion Chambers is getting a gun and going out on the prowl.
Well, first of all, it doesn't make any sense that Marion Chambers is hanging out with Lindsay and Tommy and Lonnie.
Again, because it's like a support group of PTSD survivors. But is there really like a support group for 40 years?
And are there more people in that group or are they the only ones? Like, was Sheriff Brackett not invited because he didn't have a actual run-in with him? His daughter was killed, but no, you don't count, man.
That's what it was. He doesn't count.
Yeah. So Lindsay then with Marion and the couple are driving around and they get to a park where they find those prankster kids on a swing set.
Now, what are these prankster kids wearing?
This is one of my favorite details in this movie.
I don't even think it's a detail. I think it's so obvious.
Well, yeah. But I mean, it's a thing because we didn't mention it in 2018, but there's a quick shot of some trick-or-treaters who are wearing the silver shamrock costumes.
Yeah.
The witch, the jack-o'-lantern, and the skeleton.
Yeah, and they've got like bugs pouring out of their faces.
Right.
They have Dr. Chalice like heart tattoos on their chests. Yeah.
Yeah, they're big fans of the Third Channel podcast.
Hey,
but then these are different kids, but they're still dressed in the outfits. But I just love this little detail of they exist in this world. They've brought them, fully out, and they're just a Halloween costume.
They're swinging on a swing set, and they're like, yeah, some pervert in a white mask keeps trying to play hide and seek with us. I don't know. It's so gay. And it's like, guys, what are you talking about? And then you look, and way out the distance, he's standing there.
Yeah, right next to the car where she had just left the couple who don't know how to protect themselves and Marion.
Okay. I don't like any of this.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is all... it's just you're breaking the suspension of disbelief that a physically fit couple is unable to stop, at this point now, a 62-year-old man who has 3 fingers on one hand because he has a horribly traumatic gunshot wound. He has been beaten and bludgeoned and stabbed, all this fucking crazy shit. And nope, doesn't matter. That's the thing between Halloween 1, Halloween 2 is like, yeah, the fact that Michael was able to shrug those gunshots off. That was a long one. But now he is aged, eligible for AARP.
Oh.
And he is shrugging it off still.
Lucky.
He does like the dog run up onto the roof like he did.
Smashes the window.
Yeah. No, things to note. Chronology be damned. Things to note. He tears a handful of Marion Chambers' scalp off. Right. Like he grabs her hair and tears it out. She goes, "Hey, Michael, happy Halloween," or some shit.
This is for Dr. Loomis.
Oh, okay. I forgot about that. I love that. She's carried that torch for him for so long. She wanted him.
Mm-hmm.
She wanted him. Did you know that? Yeah. That's in the behind the scenes of that movie. She was like, Loomis. And he was like, "We can't, Marion. You drive me around." Driving Dr. Loomis. Lindsay has escaped and is hiding.
Yeah. He stabs Marion. He stabs Marcus. The doctor woman is she has the gun. This
is the most insulting thing that this movie does, where it's like a bit. It's like I said it was like something out of Hot Fuzz.
Yes, it feels out of place here.
Yeah, she walks up to the car and she's taking big shots with this giant Desert Eagle. Michael turns, looks, sees it, kicks the door, and the gun is hit by the door of the car. It spins in her hand and it blows her own brains out. Have you seen The Ballad of Buster Scruggs?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, yes.
So when he kicks the plank of the table and it knocks the gun into Clancy Brown's head and it kills him, that's all I could think of is like, this is a comedy bit.
Wow. That's all I'm going to think of now.
But the problem is it's a comedy bit and it's not written to be.
No.
It's written to be you're like, oh, Michael's going off. Yeah, he's crazy in this one.
So tactical. He knows the exact perfect timing to do that.
Yeah. While this is happening, we're at the hospital.
Yeah. Well, for a second, Lindsay, she fills a pillowcase with bricks that are just kind of laying out.
Yeah. It's the playground bricks.
It doesn't do anything.
No.
And so he chases her like down to like this creek where she hides down
in like mangroves.
Yeah. Like she's hiding down there like the hobbits from the Nazgul Rider in Fellowship of the Ring.
That's good. I honestly do think that they're hiding in mangroves, which would make sense if they're shooting near Charleston again.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that bothers me is like, well, California had the palm trees. You know, South Carolina's going to have mangroves. How the hell are you representing Illinois?
That's where Haddonfield is.
Oh, good.
Yeah. We get a little character moment between Allison has loaded up with the Elams, and Lonnie is kind of telling her the story of kind of the opposite side of the story that her dad Ray told her about Lonnie in 2018.
Yeah.
And who is selling who drugs and who is the one perpetrating the drug use and whatnot.
The peyote or whatever.
But how they used to hang out and then they stopped.
Yeah, because everyone knows everyone. So the Elams have to hang out with the Jarvises and have to hang out with the
Nelsons.
The Nancy from Freddy Krueger or whatever.
Yeah. But they all end up, Tommy, Lonnie, Cameron, and Allison end up at that park finding the bodies of everyone on the playground, now donning the silver shamrock masks as Michael has posed their bodies for them to find. And they find Lindsay.
Yeah.
And this is where they take her back to the hospital. So that's how we get back there.
And okay. Tommy whips get ready. Through line, Tommy whips everyone up into a frenzy. And he's like, no, I'm sorry, Sheriff, but I've found your department has fucking sucked a whole bunch of dicks tonight. So here's what's happening. I'm in charge now. I'm the sheriff. Me and Brackett, we're the sheriff. An evil dies tonight. And then everyone is like, I'm not kidding. It is a chant through the undercurrent of the rest of this movie.
Yes.
It is like any scene that Michael and survivors in the town are in, they're going, evil dies tonight. Evil dies and over and 40 fucking times. And that guy from earlier in the movie, you may have forgotten, with the umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
He's there too. The crazy pants guy. He's there.
Yeah.
We see him kind of approach from a window.
I have to point this out because it's probably my least favorite scene in the whole movie.
Okay.
Before that guy shows up to the hospital, Tommy goes in because Lori has now woken up.
Yes.
Hawkins was brought in. He also went through surgery. He is also alive and well.
And they have a cute moment.
Yeah, they've had a moment because it's that thing of, unfortunately, we're having to tell the audience that, like, we had a kind of a history. Like, we've been sweet on each other for a while, and, like, it's weird that nothing ever really happened between us.
Yeah, we were young. We showed each other our penises. What happened?
But Tommy goes in after whipping the crowd up into a frenzy, and is like, just the delivery in this scene I absolutely hate, of, Lori, you protected me 40 years ago on Halloween night from Michael Myers, the Boogeyman of Haddonfield. You protected me
40 years ago. Me,
so
Tommy Doyle.
I'm going to now do that for you. I'm going to protect you, Lori, like you did for me, Lori.
Remember when you were a
40 years
babysitter?
40 years ago, Halloween.
She didn't protect him from shit. She opened the door and was like, get the fuck out of here. And he ran away. It's not like she's standing in the mast of the ship fencing another pirate captain to, like, stay back, Tommy. It was just like, guys, go to the Mackenzies right now. And Tommy was like, okay. And then ran away.
But Loomis was like, I'm going to go in there and shoot somebody 6 times.
If only it had been Tommy.
We wouldn't have gotten this performance. Yeah, I hate this delivery. I hate this scene. Nobody talks like that. Yeah. It's my least favorite thing in the whole movie.
Well, and so then what happens is you've got the entire hospital. Lori gets up out of the bed. This is my least favorite thing, having been into hospitals and have surgeries and whatnot. The one thing that I would never be able physically to do, ever, on the strongest pain medication I've ever been given, which, so far as I can tell, is pretty fucking strong, because I don't remember those days. I would never be able to stick it in my butt, a syringe of it in my butt, and then run around the hospital. Like, she's injured, but she's not, like, collapsing after taking a 6-inch, like 6x2-inch kitchen knife into her guts.
And then having to go through surgery to fix that.
They're like, yeah, it's good. She'll make it. Her organ damage isn't too severe. We're able to repair that. So she's had damaged internal organs. And then they said they had to suture her abdominal lining back. How do you, like, what?
Just walk it off.
Yeah. And then at one point she knees someone. Yeah. And then she's like, oh my guts. And it's like, yeah, you dumbass. That's what I mean by her performance is great, but the character is written like an idiot.
Exactly. Yes, because we get this POV shot of someone coming into the hospital and everybody's like turning and looking at them. And it's revealed to be the other inmate who crashed the car, and he's just looking for help. And they're playing with the idea of the mob mentality of, somebody says, is that Michael? Is Michael here? Who is that? And everybody then just takes it of just like, oh, somebody said it was Michael. It must be Michael. And then the mob just grows and grows and grows until, like, it's pure insanity. It's people tripping up and down staircases and falling over each other and like knocking equipment over.
But, like, again, nobody would do this.
No.
You cannot believe for a second that anything like this would ever happen, specifically because it is over the death of 5 people 40 years ago. He's haunted us our whole lives. This whole town has always been in the shadow of the Boogeyman. Has it? Because that's infinitely more indicative of you people than it is Michael. Michael's a serial killer. He killed people. That's terrible. It's indefensible. How have you raised all your children and gone complete generations with, like, every Halloween, the Boogeyman, he's going to murder you. We always stick together. It's like, what is your baseball team called? The Myerses? Like, what the fuck is happening?
And it also kind of, I mean, what we've been saying this entire time is it undoes this moment in 2018 where Allison is walking to school with her friends, and they're like, I can't think of the character's name right now.
Dave.
Vicky and Dave.
Yeah.
He's just like, I mean, like, what's the big deal, man? He killed like a couple people like 40 years ago. What's the big deal? And then not even like 6 hours later, let's call it 12 hours later, maybe
40 to 50-year-old men and women are going, it's the boogeyman. Like they're shouting that in the hospital. It's the boogeyman. Get him. It's the boogeyman.
It feels,
and Evil Dies Tonight.
It doesn't feel, mostly that. It doesn't feel like the same universe that we're living in from just moments prior.
It doesn't feel like anything that any human being would ever do.
No, it feels like I'm sure I'm not the only one that's made this observation. It feels like the entire town in this film is shown to have the energy of Dr. Loomis and the way that he talked about Michael being evil.
Yeah.
But dialed up to 11, and it's everyone.
And the thing is, the reason that Loomis is believable in his speeches about Michael is because when we mentioned this last week, is Michael showed Loomis his true colors. Mm-hmm. Loomis got to see him in the wild, got to see him hunt and kill and shake off bullet wounds and what.
Well, he also was his doctor for decades before he got loose again and killed again. Yeah. And then also Tommy in the beginning of this movie says, are you too drunk or young to remember? Yeah. And it's like, so most people don't know. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It falls apart. Anyway, Karen realizing that it's not, that this inmate isn't Michael, tries to help him flee. They get up to like if it's a 20-story hospital, they're like on the 17th floor or whatever. They chase him into this little alcove. At this point, Karen and Lori have both found out that it's not him. So Lori's shouting, but then gets taken back to her room because she gets injured again. And then it's just Karen shouting, like, it's not him, it's not him. And then it's this, I hate this shot too, where it's Tommy looks at her and he's like confused and he mouths, it's not him. And she's like, no, it isn't. And then being a mentally ill, psychopath, mm-hmm. and then B, being about to be murdered by an angry mob, he uses a fire extinguisher, the inmate does, and smashes the window and jumps, the 17 stories to his death. Good effects work. It's like the splatter's gross. It's like that kind of orangey pink bone blood mixture. It's mm-hmm. really gross. But yeah, he dies. And then no one learns a fucking thing from that. Really? You think so? Even when Sheriff Brackett says, now he's turning us into monsters. Yeah, no, they do not care. They're chanting as loud as they ever have before. They're like, we got him! Evil denied! Look at his disgusting mashed up body. We did it! We're the heroes! And it's like, whoa. We yes. We get another flashback here to fill in a little bit more of our Hawkins backstory, where, Hawkins accidentally kills his partner McCabe, and another officer is basically telling him, we're just going to cover this up. Swap guns. We'll say that he pulled his own gun. He accidentally shot himself. And we get an extra thing because it is that thing of why does Hawkins believe, like everyone else, that he's the one that needs to pull the trigger? Why is he so guilty? Is it about this accidental kill? Right. But no, it's that after he's pleading with his partner, and his partner, the first, he's bleeding out and he's just but we got him though, right? We got him. And he has to lie to him as he dies. And then he goes downstairs and Loomis is about to pull the trigger and shoot Michael in the back of the head and finish this whole thing for good. And Hawkins is the one that pushes his gun, up and away so that he can't kill Michael to put an end to it. And so now he has the guilt of that for 40 years. Do we have any definitive proof that if Loomis had shot Michael in the back of the head, it would have done anything? I mean, we don't, because we didn't see it happen. Right. It's never happened. I mean, he's already shot him 6 times. Michael's superpower is that he has an ability to make anyone who would ever kill him do something less bad to him and never actually kill him. That's his superpower. Yeah. Now, I will say that, again, whenever I'm looking at it, and it's almost I have to step away from watching it because I don't really have these thoughts when I'm watching the movie, because I'm mostly just like baffled by what's happening in front of me.
You're right.
But whenever I think about it, just the images and some of the themes that they're doing here. And I brought this up while we were watching, I think. The McCabe bleeding out, having been shot in the throat, and Hawkins being over him, comforting him in his death, is very similar to how Hawkins is then stabbed in the throat and is presumably left for dead there, but he gets, he comes out of it. But then we get some repetition with other parts of this little flashback scene with Loomis standing over Michael's body. The cops are all surrounding him, and he's about to put the finishing, kibosh on Michael here.
Right.
And we get and we obviously haven't gotten there. It's at the very end of this movie. Same sort of thing of Michael being beaten. He's finally on the ground. He is surrounded. And it's the turn that then the difference between these two times of this happening in his life.
Yeah. And I wonder if it says more about us than it does the movie, where like 5 people getting killed doesn't really mean a whole lot because, for all of the cops to be around and Loomis to have the gun and for all them to be standing there like, yeah, do it, kill him.
Yeah.
And it's just like, good Lord. But yeah, I think that's what the movie's trying to say is that's what I took from it. But that I wish poorly.
Yeah. It's like those themes I like a lot.
Sure.
But they weren't enough to stretch this out for a trilogy.
No. And
you put this one, unfortunately, in this middle chapter that is just like, I don't know, just angry for whatever reason. And just squanders it. We go back to the Johns who are watching a movie and kind of reflecting on life. And there's another banging at the back door. They think it's the kids playing pranks again. And then there's banging at the front door. So Big John grabs a golf club and goes out yelling. And they end up going back inside, and Little John finds that the back door is now open and there is a bloody handprint on the door frame.
Yeah, with the Nightcrawler hand. And they walk around and they try to find him. Another moment that I absolutely fucking hate here. Big John gets murdered, gets stabbed in like the armpit, and it's like his acting is fine. His acting and like the kill is fine. But in the extended version, his eyes pop out.
Yeah,
and that's hot. I like that. But the regular version, just we've seen it a million times. Nothing special there. But then Little John eventually finds Big John's body and then looks up into the room, and it's Judith Myers' bedroom. The way the window is situated, the way it's angled, it's obviously her room. And Little John looks up and goes, "Michael, you've come home." And it's like, who is this guy to you? Why is the whole town like, the Messiah hath returned for murdering and white masks? It's just bizarre.
I mean,
why wouldn't it be, oh my God, you just killed my fucking husband? Why is it, oh, Michael, you're home now. Isn't that a lot of fun? And it's just weird.
Yeah. I don't know. I love the Johns, man. I wish that this, but I like them as characters too. I think they're interesting. I think they're weird. I like the whole, I like Big John dancing around to the Halloween music and smoking weed. And
that's
stuff.
all you like about those characters, because you do that every day.
Yeah.
You wake up, you toke a little ganja, you listen to old Halloween records, and then you drive your car recklessly to work.
That's true.
That is true.
So
pay attention, Derek's boss.
This is where we get, the explanation. Hawkins having this realization back at the hospital. He lets them know, he lets Laurie know, I should say, that Sartain was the reason that there isn't a connection here, and that, Michael and he's just out there. And at the same time, they're kind of piecing together these things about Michael. And he tells Laurie about what he had heard of Michael standing in Judith's window looking out. Lonnie is also figuring out, looking at a map of the town.
Yeah.
That all Michael's doing.
That's what I mean by I like the geography of this, is they kind of use the few locations. It's like, well, he went here, he hit those old people's home. Then he went here, then he's gone here. It's a direct path home to his house. That's where he always goes. Lonnie's like, he always does the same thing. He shows up, he causes a little terror, a little mischief, and then he makes his way home. So let's go there. And it's he, Cameron and Allison are going together. Again, Karen, terrible parent, does not care about this.
Karen's not there.
No, the fact that they
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
she does not know where Allison is.
Yeah.
And it's just like, we'll figure it out.
Look, she'll figure it out about the same time that she figured out that her husband, Ray, was dead.
25 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Well, they get to Lambkin Lane, the home of Mickey Mantle. And they go inside.
Yeah.
Well, Lonnie does.
Lonnie finally makes it inside the Myers house.
He's right on the stoop and he hears Lonnie, because Loomis is like 111 years old. He's like, get your ass. And he passes away.
Was that the wind?
No, he's like, yes, he died. I've been trying to get in here for 40 years. Every time I do that, he goes, get your ass away. So I can get in now. And then he opens the door and he starts helping himself to a dog.
You think the Johns had a dog?
They did.
Oh.
That's what the blood on those fingerprints was.
He must have gotten hungry.
Fuck. They don't hear, the kids in the car, Cameron and Allison, don't hear anything for a while. So they go in to investigate. And this is where, if the movie's rails were gone before, it is like the wheels have now dug into the earth and are creating new rails for the film based on the churning brimstone and hellfire and hot friction from metal wheels from a train. It's crazy. It's crazy. So they go upstairs and Cameron finds his dad's dead fucking body.
Yeah, Allison first goes into like the study and finds the Johns posed with the record playing. But we see this picture of them kind of laying out in a field. And so their bodies are now posed in the same positions. They're dead corpses.
They're unliving meat.
And Allison finds herself a weapon buried in Little John's chest, which she removes. But then Cameron...
A Smith & Wesson revolver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she checks, and it's got 6 shots left.
She's like, perfect. This will do nothing. Cameron goes upstairs, and he's holding like a revolver. And onto the revolver drips blood from the attic. He looks up, and it's his dad! Lonnie, you should have gotten your ass away from it. Now your head is in between your ass cheeks because you got folded backwards.
Yeah, do you think Michael folded him?
Yeah, this is the second person Michael's folded in this trilogy. He folded Ray, get him up in the closet.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Yeah, Michael's Jasoning, dude. He smashes through walls in this one. He folds people. At one point, he uses like different weapons.
So when we watch Ends, we got to look out for a folded guy. Or woman.
A folded gal's just fine with us. Hashtag women get folded. Let's hear it, guys. Put that in the chat or in the comments or whatever. Anyway, so then he starts screaming and Michael bursts out. And again, this is the second.
A closet.
That's true. I don't know if that means anything. No, don't. Every time that we see a closet, we can't call Charlie. He smashes. This is the kind of reflective moment. Because earlier he grabbed Phil's head and like in the mobile home with the drone,
Sandra.
and he smashes his head around this like wooden paneled thing. Here he grabs Cameron and he smashes his head through like the wooden slats of a banister and like bangs it around a bunch. And Allison successfully goads Michael and she's like, fuck you, get down here and face me. I'm the one you want. And again, Michael's like, I do not know who you are, but don't talk to me like that. So he turns and he starts to walk down the stairs. And as he is walking down the stairs, Cameron's head, his dumb fucking like, oh fuck, head is sticking out of the banister slats. And Michael turns and sees it. And Allison's like, no, hey, don't do that. Don't do it. And Michael just grabs his head and wrenches it backwards. And it's like, I'm glad you're dead. Because you threw the phone into that sherbert punch. See, now you can't correct me because if you correct me, you're wrong.
Yeah.
It's pudding. But so, but then there's someone here to save the day. This is what I mean. Death. Crazy. But then door opens. Someone's there now. And it's Karen with no reason. Didn't explain how she knew he was there. Also doesn't explain how she got from the hospital there. Like, did someone tell her?
So,
she kept hearing Evil Dies Tonight, but it was growing louder. And so she followed the noise to the house.
I believe she has this realization because when Hawkins is talking about what happened with him and talking about Michael standing and looking at himself in the mirror, in the window, and she is looking at herself, her own reflection, and it's what we talked about at the beginning of like, what is it that makes him kill? What was he? Is he looking out at the town, or is he looking in at himself? What's happening? And so I think she puts it together, and they form this plan that we don't realize is a plan.
Yeah.
As she bursts into the door and stabs him with a pitchfork, and then steals his mask.
And like, now keep in mind, it has been shown that like he doesn't really care about the mask, but in this one he does. Even though in the last one it was established that he doesn't. But in this one he does. He loves that thing. He fucking...
It's his bread and butter.
He comes in it or whatever.
Probably.
In the bread and the butter.
But she kind of... And she like has the mask and she starts goading him.
Yeah, you want it, come get it.
And you know, he begins just stalking after her through the backyards of these you know, couple streets over, and she has left the mask in the middle of the street, which he stoops down and picks up, and then is surrounded by cars and all of the townspeople from the mob who want to kill him, including Sheriff Brackett, who gets to say his line of
yes,
everyone deserves it's Halloween night. Everyone deserves a scare.
But you pointed out in the viewing that he didn't say that to Michael and that they never interacted.
Oh, no, that's a good point. This is the first time that these characters have ever interacted.
Yeah.
Even in Halloween 2, they never bumped into each other. Yeah, this is the first time.
Sheriff Brackett's gone for most of Halloween 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because once he finds Annie's body, he goes off with her, and we hand off to another deputy.
But again, remember like in the hospital when he's a security guard and somebody's like, "You're Sheriff Brackett?" And he's like, "Not anymore. I'm not a sheriff anymore." And it's like, Derek, don't use your phone. I will give you 700,000 days. You can't use your phone.
Days.
You can't use any research equipment, but I'll give you 700,000 days. If you can tell me any previous sheriff from 5 years or further of the Tampa Bay area, I will give you a free lunch.
Not the current ones.
Not the current ones. From 10 years ago or before. You can't look any research material up.
Okay. Well, I'll get back to you in 7,000 days or whatever you said.
Yeah, because the point is, no one would
do it.
No one would be like, "Oh, wow, you were the sheriff back then," because it's not a famous event, because you've already established that it's not and people don't care. So which is it? Is it a nothing event that no one cares about and Tommy, you seem crazy? Or is it the most important thing that ever happened? It is bigger than the Lincoln assassination. How dare you forget about the babysitter killer?
Who?
Michael Meyer. I don't know. Or who was Abe Lincoln? Abe Lincoln fought vampires, man.
Now that I do know.
That's good.
Saw that shit in 3D. It was awesome.
Whoa.
But yeah, everybody again is like, how many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
Evil dies tonight.
Evil dies tonight. And they start just hitting him with whatever they have.
Yeah. The classic thing of somebody runs up and hits him, and then somebody runs up and hits him again, and then another person runs up and hits him, and it's like they're all taking turns, and it's like, no, guys, surround him and beat him to death now with everything that you have. Some of you have guns. Shoot him in the face with those guns. It's crazy that they don't do that.
Yeah. Tommy kind of tells Karen, like, "Hey, you've done what you need to do. Go back to your daughter." And she picks up a knife.
Yeah, this establishes something very strange, which is I then don't know what happens to many characters because it's not explained at all. She grabs the knife, like, to finish this point out, because it's a good point. She grabs a knife and stabs him in the back. Michael, not Tommy. It should have been Tommy.
What a twist.
And then she's like, "All right, I'm out. I'm going to go back to my kid." And then it cuts to her like walking up to this stoop surrounded by other people. And she sits down next to Allison. But again, there's like 4 or 5 people kind of just shown milling around this stoop in this shot.
I think there's like paramedics and stuff. I think they're taking care of the
that's what I'm saying.
Elims. Yeah.
Yeah. And then and there also looks to be a couple of neighbors.
Oh, yeah, probably.
And then you've got this speech that's given by Lori.
Yeah, this monologue.
And it is so dumb and so fucking cliche about, and they've said all this stuff before, and Michael possessed abilities well beyond a mortal man. And he was able to be harmed and injured. And we all thought that he would, go away, but he's never going to go away. He's part of the town.
The true curse of Michael Myers is how he has affected everyone in this town.
Everybody knows the true curse of Michael Myers is how big his fucking wiener is. His hips are displaced.
And how you can never defeat it.
Right. Of course not. So he just shows it to you and you start throwing up, I guess. But so the point is that Michael then springs to his feet, essentially, and murders everyone. He kills Tommy, who has the bat from the beginning. Remember the bar in the beginning? He's got the bat. Doesn't work. It doesn't do anything.
He kills Sheriff Brackett.
He murders Brackett finally.
He kills every other unnamed person.
All of them.
The whole town.
I wish he killed Lindsay.
That was originally a plan, and I don't know if they just couldn't figure out a way of, after she was like terrorized and they took her to the hospital, to get her back out on the streets again.
What if Michael was doing like all the knife foo or whatever, and he's like stabbing people and there's blood spilling? Because it's this really poorly shot, to my opinion, like montage of like slow-mo, and the score is like really overpowering, and everybody's voice is like echoey, like really gainy. And he's just like in a black void, just killing. And I get what it's supposed to represent. I understand that it's representative of like, this is how it feels to do this.
Yeah.
But good Lord, it doesn't work here at all. It just looks, and this is where I'm going, is it looks geographically confused.
Okay.
Like they didn't know where this was, because this is taking place on his street. So it's like, or adjacent to it.
It's like 2 streets over.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, well then Karen by this point is on the front stoop. Michael kills everyone and they don't seem to react to it, because we are seeing slow-mo footage of Karen and Allison during the slow-mo footage of all of Michael's murdering, while Laurie narrates with this terrible monologue.
Yes, because Allison Karen is comforting Allison to mirror the scene from earlier in the stairwell at the hospital.
Right.
That's another mirrored thing here. But I see what you're getting at now with he murders this entire mob.
Ending with Tommy Doyle. He finally gets it.
Yeah.
And I stood up and I clapped. I was like, yeah, burn in hell. I was so mad.
And Karen gets up from the stoop and she looks up at Judith's window. And there is like the ghostly image of a young Michael Myers dressed as the clown.
Which I don't hate.
Up there.
Yeah, I don't hate that.
And this is like at the tail end of Laurie is still giving a monologue that, to Hawkins that no one else is hearing. But so Karen goes upstairs and looks out the window in Judith's room, and where she is drawn there. She looks out at Haddonfield like Michael must have all those years ago. And then, Michael somehow steps out from behind her and kills her. But your question then is,
how did he kill every single person in that entire crowd? All 50 people in the crowd. He kills them all. He then goes back to his home and sneaks in from, I guess, the back, where no one sees him cross the street. Again, soaked in blood. No one sees him cross the street. He then gets upstairs, sneaks up behind her in an empty house, and murders her.
Yeah.
So when did those things happen?
I don't know.
The first time I saw it, I thought it was I thought it was metaphor.
Yeah,
I thought
or a dream.
Or abstract. Yeah.
Like she saw the vision of little Michael, and then this. Yeah, I get what because it doesn't make any sense.
No. Now in the theatrical release, this was the end. Thank God. This is where this torment of ours, where you finally became Halloween and were killed. But unfortunately, there is an extended cut, which has a little nugget more.
Yeah, and the reasoning behind it is that David Gordon Green didn't want to give the audience the impression that the next movie was going to pick up immediately after like this one did from that one. So you get this extra scene where Karen dies, we push in on her dead body, and her cell phone begins ringing. And it's Laurie calling her. And Michael apparently picks up the phone.
Yeah, he knows how to use smartphones. He's been in a fucking high security fucking psych ward for 40 years, but he figured out Google's.
And so she hears his breathing on the other side of the line, and she's like, I'm coming for you, Michael.
Yeah.
And then she drops the phone, stalks out of the room,
grabs the knife
down the hallway of the hospital, and the camera pushes in down onto the knife in her hand and freeze frames, much like it did at the end of 2018.
No, I thought the point was that David Gordon Green didn't want people to think this movie was going to pick up exactly where it left off.
Yeah.
But that's not, you got that impression though, right?
Mm-hmm.
that it was going to do exactly that?
Yes, because the end, like, yeah, if you're ending your movie, if that was the original ending, and she's walking out of that hospital with a knife, and she's like, oh, you know, she's going to finish the job. And then when the movie is like, oh no, we're gonna take, and we'll get more into this obviously next week, but it's like it's like a few years later.
Yeah.
And so I think he made the smart move of removing it, and the theatrical ending being the canonical ending, I guess.
Because then you don't know exactly where it'll pick up.
Right.
With the extended cut, it's like, oh, well, no, it ends with Laurie swearing her revenge.
Yeah. This version, the theatrical cut, you end with the, you know, quote, shocking death of Karen. And then Michael again stands in that window, and the focus shifts from what he's seeing outside of the window looking at Haddonfield to seeing his own reflection.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, the capper of this whole theme of what's going on in there.
I feel like we didn't do a good enough job explaining just how fragmented the themes of this are, and just how it is a bad, I think, take on this movie that they're trying new things or interesting things, because you can try interesting things all day long. Freddy's Dead tried interesting things, and at the end of it, it was 3D snake demons. Like, it's not doing something interesting or unique to a film franchise doesn't make it good decisions. And to make this one this like pulp, like hyper violent, sort of like ridiculous, almost like a Grindhouse movie, it falls apart so fast.
I think it has the highest kill count in the entire series.
Great.
You're sitting at, I mean, they have a feature on the Blu-ray, the 4K, where it's all of the kills that Michael gets, and I think he hits 40 of them.
But that's like being, did you like The Witch? And it's like, no, nobody gets fucking got in The Witch. I don't like that. But it's like, that's not what that movie's about. All the murders and like the way it works, that's not what 78 is about either. 78 is about the suspense set between scene to scene to scene to carry you across, to make you enjoy it.
Which I think then 2018, like we talked about, does a good job of like,
that's very good.
You know, yes, does it have some extreme kills and some gore in it? Yes, from time to time. But it also has the suspense that you build. It has things that's done off camera. It has, you know, things that look the same. And that is, I think, the ultimate kind of thing we've been dealing with this entire chat is this movie then takes that and runs completely in the other direction of just like, oh, we didn't do enough kills last time. Okay, we'll just ramp that up to 11.
It's something Bug mentioned in our last episode that I think I ended up cutting out, which was how much this series reminds him of Star Wars, the sequel trilogy. And I think that we can comment on that here. And then again, next week, where like you leave Force Awakens and you go into The Last Jedi, and The Force Awakens is larger than life, but it feels so accurate to the original. And you feel like you're back in the seat of your favorite car. And then the next one, you have been James Bond ejector seated out of the car, and you're like sprinting alongside Formula One cars in Monaco. It's a completely ridiculous departure, and it doesn't do the series any good.
And I mean, in the same way, it picks up immediately following the end of it. That is a really good analogy. That's a good comparison there. The difference, I think, is important because with the Star Wars sequel trilogy, you have The Force Awakens is done by J.J. Abrams, who has, you know, an idea of a thing that he wants to do. And he sets up, you know, what the rest of the series could be, what the rest of this trilogy could be. And then you bring in a different director to do the second one of Rian Johnson. Rian Johnson doesn't like to play. He plays by his own rules.
He likes his knives out.
Yeah. And so, you know, you tried to shove him into a box and told him like, oh, well, this is where you have to start the story. And try and pick up some of those threads and do stuff with that. And he was like, well, no, I want to do my own thing. So he did his own thing.
It's just crazy that Star Wars is always like, by the way, if you're directing one of these, you can write it too. That's totally fine. You can always do both for the biggest film franchise of all time.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
The difference here is that this is written and directed and produced and acted and shot and edited and done completely by the same group of people.
Yeah, but it's difficult because they're so distracted with having to make this movie while all the while they're trying so hard to get evil to die tonight.
Yeah. I mean, that's difficult to do, apparently.
Derek Rosenberg, do you recommend Halloween Kills?
No.
Neither do I.
I cannot recommend this film.
I don't recommend this film as part of the trilogy that it's in.
No.
I don't recommend it as part of the franchise. I'm back to that. I'm back to like Curse of Thorn. No, I don't recommend it. It's a big yawn. It's a big eyesore. It's ugly. It's long. It is grating. The amount of times during this screening that you or I would be like, what the fuck is happening? It's preposterous. It is preposterous at the expense of the viewer's intelligence, I feel.
And we've talked about bad sequels. We've talked about bad movies in these franchises before. And I think we had a similar issue whenever it came to, Halloween 4 to some extent, but then definitely Halloween 5 and Curse of Michael Myers, where those movies may or may not be better or worse than some of the entries in Friday the 13th or A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Right.
But the difference there is that when you're coming off the caliber of Halloween, 1978, John Carpenter's classic, to some of the things that we go to in those sequels, that's such a big drop off that it hurts more than going like, well, yeah, this isn't as good as like Friday the 13th, the final chapter.
Sure. Well, and I think it's an fair comparison, right? It's unfair because no movie is as visioned and, every movie that exists that we've talked about since has been a ripoff to some degree.
Yeah.
Eventually we'll talk about stuff that came out earlier, but right now this world, except for Black Christmas, the world of everything we've spoken about is Halloween centric. This is the thing that spurned it all. But it's also a fair comparison because you guys do this badly every time. And also, again, to your point, all of these same people made the last one and the last one was perfectly good.
And that's what I guess I'm getting at is that we have that same thing happening here where it's like you have Halloween 2018 where I'm like, that's as close to like the perfect Halloween sequel as you can get to me. And the drop off is immediate afterwards. Well,
it's why we never got those fucking Exorcist sequels. It's none of that. David Gordon Green did not, Scorsese's,
That is an amazing point that I'm glad you mentioned because that is the thought process between they came up with, oh yeah, we just did this Halloween trilogy. It did what it did. I have an idea for an Exorcist trilogy, how we can reboot that as a legacy sequel.
And they're like, green light, go for it.
But it's like, but you guys, I read the quote from Danny McBride saying like, no, we had this idea for 2 movies for Halloween, but we were like, let's do the first one. If it does well enough, then we'll work on a sequel.
Here's the thing.
Why didn't they do it again?
Right.
They sprinted immediately into like, no, but we got another trilogy idea.
If the studio says yes, though, I think the creators at that point should have been like, no. Especially because of the time of history that they were in, like the things that were going on. It's like, I don't think you need to do any of that. I'd say that if evil's going to die tonight for any reason, it should have been because of COVID.
Thanks for tuning into the Third Channel podcast. Please, if you have the time, rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any of your favorite podcast apps.
You can follow us on social media at Third Channel Podcast, and you can find me online at thatdrosenberg.
You can also reach out to us at thirdchannelpodcast@gmail.com, where we check every message we swear. Third Channel is hosted by PJ Minette
and Derek Rosenberg. Theme song and audio engineering by Fly Guy Ty.
The logo designed by Bell DeVelco.
Episode artwork by Nathan Walkington.
Keep it tuned right here to the Third Channel for all things horror. And remember, don't touch that dial.
Egg salad and eggs.